any samples, any ideas, any shows that I can see to get ideas of my own of what I want to build. I don't want anyone to have the perception that, hey, I got all these demos, all these shows that Americo hosts with in different formats and different genres. It's great samples, but it seems to be the same five people commenting. So I'm not sure that I can. I'm not sure that I can trust Americo to bring an audience, right?
Oh, isn't that cool?
But if they come on their own, great. I welcome them. But I don't want to artificially bring people. Hey, can you come and support me? And then have it turn around and bite me in the arse.
Yeah, well, I'll give a very good example. Tell me about the show you did with John. John's in Calgary. He works in ESG, Environment, Sustainability, and Growth, maybe. I still don't know what ESG stands for.
Governance, yeah.
Governance. Now, that show was very deliberately specialized for his story.
That's right.
And you had enormous trouble getting people to come because the subject itself is not very exciting, but you did it for him.
Yeah? I did it for him. So I had shared with him, this isn't my area of expertise. My community isn't heavily concentrated on professionals who are in that space, but I will do my best. I will invite Canadian contingent, and I will invite, adjacent industries, professionals, engineers, whoever it is that I can extract from my community. But I really need you to lean in and bring your ideal odds. And we had great registration. There were over 70 people who had RSVP'd for the event. We had one comment and one person show up live. So did not do as well as as we had hoped. We're struggling with the replays, but the silver lining, he wanted to experiment and test his capability and his willingness to, the willingness is there. He wanted to show up. He wanted to be part of something. But this now helps him build a strategy long term, right?
We've just had a bit of a chat from Bernardo. Bernardo and I are not following each other, but that must be that he is a person. He's paired, so someone else has come in there. Zarar, I think, is in Pakistan. Bernardo is in Uruguay. So we are definitely getting a global audience. But Bez, tell us what you're thinking of Substack. We've been dancing all over the place, but let's have a chat about where. Yeah,
Keith, if I can just jump in because I got to run.
Got to run? No worries.
Yeah.
All right.
I wanted to add, Zakia makes a very good point. They say you will get more reach commenting on LinkedIn posts than your own content. I think it's the same thing with lives, etc. If you're getting in there and interacting, I actually built a Twitch channel for a month or two. I just was on everybody else's. When I decided to start live streaming, I was affiliate in 7 days on Twitch, which requires a certain number of subscribers. So yes, it's very effective to get in there, get active, engage with other people. The other thing that's really helped me, because you can't hit everything. Americo invited me to be on his show. I said earlier, I can't usually get on your show because of time differences and my schedule, after 7 p.m. my time, which is in 15 minutes, it's getting my son ready for bed. So and Americo made a good point. Where's your audience? Where's the audience of the guest you're bringing? I think that's valuable. Mm-hmm. And you kind of have to work around it, is my opinion. And the other thing that's helped me a lot was getting part of my audience. They're super connectors, like Merrill Cass or Kenneth Dunner. I don't know if you guys know any of those. I think Americo does.
Yep.
If they know about your show, they send it out to all their connections. They send private messages and, hey, I'm over here watching Americo's show, or I'm watching Keith's show. That has really boosted show up rate. But I've had shows where I looked at the results and it's like there's no viewers. I just keep going.
Yeah.
'Cause I know the
And
replay.
you can't be hard on yourself.
I know that the replay, I think it's like 5x for whatever views you get live, you're going to get 5 times or something like that on your replays. So there's also that factor. Anyway, good night, folks.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Night.
Thanks, Sean.
I'll just regroup a little bit so we can start again. Hello, Joshua. Bernardo in Uruguay has asked, what is this about? Right. So the 4 or 5 themes that we've talked about so far are Heartbeats versus Substack. You know, is Substack a replacement for things like School, WordPress, and these sorts of things? Substack versus School. Can Substack replace your WordPress blog? Right. And we are indeed talking about these types of things in general. So I'll bring it back to a more sort of civilized position there. And Bez, jump into the call. I know you love to turn up halfway through, so I've got to regroup for you. But what do you think? Any of those things? Could Substack replace School, or are they very different?
I think School is a community platform. Substack, I mean, I don't see it as a community platform, as more like has a little bit of everything, but more of a subscriber. Could you have in a newsletter? Could you have a community that rallies around that? I guess you could, but you would need to take them somewhere, right? Where are you guys going to hang out? I don't know. Substack can do that from a community, but it's great as in many aspects, right? It's got, you can do podcasting, you can do live video, you can do microblogging, you can do on and on and on, and it can take your, get clips and make other social media posts so you can repurpose. I almost see it like a mega social media site, right? Because it so many things it can do, almost like a Swiss Army knife.
It's like
I don't see it being a community platform. That's my 2 cents.
No, this is very, very important. Like, I mean, I want to have this discussion. Are you part of Amolia's Heartbeat group?
I am not. I had to make a decision to not join too many, right? I had considered it, but I plus I have my own community, so there comes a point where you have to make some decisions, like where you're going to spend your time. And so I'm trying to limit the communities I belong to because of the time. Now, because you do this one in the evening and only, Mondays and Tuesdays for me, it gives me an opportunity, but I can't always come. But, I show up halfway if I show up when I can. So you give me an opportunity to still participate because of the timing difference.
Yeah. I love this discussion, because the thing that we can't deny is that Substack is free. So even if the concept fails, it's cost you financially nothing. What I personally don't like is paying an amount of money from day one and waiting for the community to build around it. And then a year goes past and you think, I've already spent $200 and there's no one coming.
Right.
Like, I spent 2 years of my life on Discord. I don't regret that, but I'm not going back. Spent 2 years of my life trying to build up a Discord community, and at the end I had to pull the plug. Now that's 2 years of my life gone, and that's time, which is just as valuable as money. But imagine if I was paying $99 a month for that. Oh, that's just, what is that? That's like $2,400. I mean, I'm just down the toilet. So I'm really interested in the fact that a lot of these community sites are a paid service, and maybe you morph into them. Like we talked to Jason yesterday. He is on a Circle, but he has 240,000 people on Instagram. Right, he is selling merch and stuffies of his dogs. He's right at the cusp of being able to leave his day job as a teacher to do this. Right, he actually makes much more than the $99 fee. Well, what about when you're first starting? And I guess a lot of my followers are starting. They're always interested in this stuff. So I'm so fascinated by this. Mike's made some very, very good points, and we'll circle back to this. WordPress is a heavy site. It's hard to use. It's almost impossible to do on your own. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I can't work it out. Has anyone got a WordPress blog, and do they love it?
I do. I absolutely love WordPress. It is a monster with keeping up with the maintenance and the security. Every plugin seems to need an update on a weekly basis. However, the flexibility of it and the ability to bring people to a central location. And I don't know if you all clicked on the link that Sean shared in the private chat. That's a perfect example of how WordPress is head and shoulders over. Now, some people love Go High Level in place of it. But WordPress allows me to have all of those elements in there. So no matter if someone is searching on Google or any of the generative AI tools, if they look for my name or any of my brands, because there's 3 of them, they're all optimized to bring them back to my site, which is where I can then sell the products, the services, the coaching, any of those things that make sense for the person that is there.
I love it. You've explained that really well. WordPress is a monster. It's bloody hard to use, and I actually pay someone to do that. But it is the fundamental hub, isn't it? It's the place where everything functions. It's a really, really powerful, but hard. Does anyone else have a sort of a WordPress story? I have a WordPress blog if you want to look at it. WordPress.org. Sorry, keithkeller.org is my WordPress blog. I'm very proud of it. I've been doing it since 2008. Like, I mean, it's thumping. It's got everything you'll need there, but I have to pay someone to manage it. It's really hard, really hard.
Right. But I think, Keith, what we're getting at is you leverage this creative hub of Substack or LinkedIn or any of the social platforms to drive people to that place you own.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's exactly right. We're always got to be driving people to the place we own. I want to give everyone a turn to talk about WordPress because it is hard to use. Like, it's very hard to use, but it's good. So before I throw to Mike. Yeah, please.
For Zakia. Zakia, do you do your own maintenance and your own, I mean, how involved are you in it? Is it something that mere mortals like myself could take on?
Absolutely. I do it all. But what you don't pay for in time, you pay for in money. So I have the ability to use my time for the things that I run into with WordPress. If it gets to be a bear, there are several WordPress developers. But if you're not using your time, you're using your money to pay someone else to do the maintenance. I use my time. I pay for it in time.
Okay. All right. So, and do you use any special like Elementor or any of these
theme builders? Yes, I use Divi because again, I got it on lifetime deal. I am a lifetime deal connoisseur. If you know anything about me, I do not pay subscription, so I use Divi as a theme builder. It also is a plugin as well. And I'm going to put my livesoapschool.com if any of you want to see some of the features and functionality of WordPress and the extensibility of it with plugins. So I have course plugins on there. I have a shopping cart functionality on there. I have a lead magnet opt-in on there. So all those things that I need or want people to be able to do, a booking solution. So all of the elements of doing business online is possible with WordPress or Go High Level.
Okay. So are you using Go High Level or WordPress?
No, I'm using WordPress, but Go High Level, if you're someone who doesn't want to deal with the maintenance of WordPress, the beauty of Go High Level is it operates similar to WordPress, but they take care of the maintenance.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Is it WordPress? Let me ask you this. Is Go High Level WordPress based?
No, it was completely coded by a team, and it's what a lot of agencies use to sell like really
Right.
quick things for people to be able to launch a site, sell courses, sell products, and all of that.
Hmm.
So if you have an agency and you're doing that for people, Go High Level is a great solution. You can quickly deploy a site, but you don't have to worry about plugins breaking or the security plugins not working. It's similar to having Shopify versus WooCommerce. Shopify and
Yeah.
WooCommerce do exactly the same thing, except you don't have to worry about the maintenance on Shopify.
Gotcha. And in regards to cost, those plugins and the updates and everything, does it run you some type of fee on a yearly basis?
It depends on the plugin. Again, my name is LTD Queen. So many of them I follow I follow developers for a long time to understand what they're doing and if they're a fly by night company before I will actually buy a lifetime deal. But the main plugins that I use specifically for my courses, even my WooCommerce ones, they were lifetime deals. And I get the updates with them and all of that.
Gotcha.
But
Oh,
Sakia isn't joking when she says it's a pain in the arse to keep up with all of the plugins because there's no like easy way to update them, and they do tend to update quite often.
Yeah, and one update could break your whole site and you're seeing 404 errors, and then you have to be able to go to your hosting provider, do a backup, restore, disable plugins so that you can even get in and try and troubleshoot. So it is not for the faint at heart at all.
And it's
Very,
not
very lazy. You just have to find someone else.
well. Did you look at Wix at all?
I did. I just didn't.
What?
I think for me, it's that ownership piece. And I feel like Wix, I'm still building on someone else's land that can at any point be taken away for something that I post. Although I don't know how dangerous soap could be, but you never know. So it's difficult for me, and WordPress just provided that level of ownership. I think of it as owning the store on Main Street instead of leasing it, where they could change the rent, they could change the features, they could do any of those things, and it's out of my control.
Actually, this is a very, very good point. Hello, Shireen, if you want to come in. I think that's how you'd say that. Shireen Goodman, business coach. We're not following each other, but someone here must be because this is a paired site. So if someone in the group could send Shireen that link, I'm happy to have you. But I don't know if this has happened to you, but I want to have this story. As a young person, I rented a house like everyone else in the world, right? And then one day they knocked on the door and they said, okay, Keith, sorry about this. We're selling the house. You've got 60 days to find another house to live, which is equivalent to 8 weekends. That's how they do it in Australia, 60 days. Yeah, well, I like it. I like it here. I'm settled and I've got things I'm doing. I haven't got time to be looking for a house. This is, well, you know, you're renting. It's my house and I'm selling it. You have to go. So it creates this turmoil in the world. And then suddenly we found this other house, which was okay, but not as good. And we lived there for a year. Right? And then it happened again. Sorry, Keith. We've decided to sell the house. You've been very lovely tenants, but bye-bye. And I'm thinking, hang on, this can't be right. So we bought a house. Right? Now, we owned this house. This is a very good example for what WordPress is. No one can knock on the door and say, hey, Keith, guess what? We're selling the house. You can't sell it. I own it. I live here. I've been here 25 years, and please go away. You can't have it. I live here, and this is my house. And that's the same. WordPress can't, well, it could close down, I guess, but, you know, it's completely yours. your piece of the internet, your piece of land. Is that a good analogy, Zakia? The idea of renting a house and having to move as opposed to owning your house and being able to, paint the walls and do your own thing. Is that a good analogy, or is it a little bit simplistic?
Yeah, I think so, for sure. But then what you don't pay for in the rent, you're paying for in your hosting and your domain name and all those other things. So yes, that's a very good analogy of renting versus owning, for sure.
Yeah. And Curtis says, say no to Wix.
Yes, Curtis, I agree 100%.
Say no to Wix. I could make a song
But
out of that.
I do want to echo Mike's point and what I said earlier. I am not waving the WordPress flag for those that don't have the time, the energy, or the money to maintain it. You'll be building and building and building, and then something happens and it's gone. You have to be in it for the long haul or have that paid person that's going to maintain it for you.
Yeah. And let's pick up on this idea, Mike. You're building something from scratch and you're not that excited about WordPress. What do you think you would do to build your brand online so that people can find out about your songs and your bespoke music stuffy? And what are you doing? Tell us what you think might work for you.
I need something agile. So I'm not going to have like what I'm imagining is I'm going to be driving traffic to Bandcamp and the streaming platforms. But to Zakia's point, I do at some point want a home base, so to speak. And I mean, I could see it being, I mean, if you look at my bespoke music, a Substack publication, it could be for the bespoke business. It could be that, as long as there's a way for me to get payment, which I have to look to see if there is. But for the Bandcamp, that's all done through Bandcamp. So I'm actually working out a way to use TikTok to drive traffic to Bandcamp, and maybe the other platforms.
Where does Bandcamp live? Where is that hosted?
It's in the it's its own company.
No, I mean
so
online. You said you're sending people to Bandcamp. Where are they landing?
On Bandcamp.com.
Bandcamp.com.
But where
What
is
does
that?
Bandcamp
But
do?
what is it? Is it on Wix or WordPress or what what did you use to build that Bandcamp.com?
No, Bandcamp is sorry. Bandcamp is its own company. So that's where I can load up my tracks and sell them.
Can you explain a bit about what Bandcamp does? It's a fairly newish idea. What is Bandcamp and what does it do?
Oh, it's not yours. It's a platform
No.
like a Spotify or
Yep.
something like that. Okay, I gotcha.
Yep. And then for track streaming, I'm going to be using something called DistroKid, and DistroKid sends it out to all the streaming platforms like Spotify and Apple, and Amazon and everything else. I think they have 150 platforms.
Let's pull that apart, Mike. I mean, I know you know what you're talking about, but it's a very unique proposition. What is Bandcamp and what is DistroKid and what do they do that we need to know about?
Yeah, Bandcamp actually allows you to sell merch too. So it's a very specialized. It's specifically for people that want to sell their music, and merch. And you can also, although I wouldn't do this, apparently you can sell vinyl and CDs. I'm not looking at vinyl at all. This would all be digital for me, and I wouldn't be doing CDs. If this takes off, then I could maybe consider merch, but I'm not looking even at merch initially. And then the streaming stuff. So it's really two different revenue sources. One is straight sales, and then the other is and Bandcamp. it takes. I'm trying to remember. I want to say 20% or 15% or something off the top, and then the stream Disco Kid takes nothing off the top, but they do, or is very little off the top, but the problem is that the streaming platforms take about 30% off the top.
Yeah.
So Spotify or whatever, it depends on the platform, but they take a nice little chunk off the top.
So let's pick this up. Zakia sells soap and the ability to make soap, and she has coaching courses on soap, and she's gone further down the track and teaches creators to be creators. But what Mike does, and this is the key question everyone's asking, what Mike does is he makes these really cool songs on Suno.ai, and he's in the process of deciding, do I make these songs and just put them up and make a little bit of a click, 0.000006 cents per play, or do I make songs for people, bespoke musica, right, just to set the tone? So he's using a site called bandcamp.com and distrokid.com, which are very specific to the music industry. Now, you may not have heard of these sites, and only I have heard of them in the last few weeks. So I hope that makes sense, Shireen, as to what is going on there. But DistroKid is a distribution site that takes your site and says, okay, you've got 6 songs here on your C drive. Let's send them to Spotify and Apple and Deezer and all of that. I'm guessing that's what it does, and for a monthly fee. And Bandcamp allows you to house your songs. You go, if you like this one, you can buy it, or click here and give me 0.000006 cents. I think that's what it is. Lots of zeros.
No, on Bandcamp, actually, per track, you hit the nail on the head. It depends on the platform again as to what the cost is per stream. But if I'm selling a track, it's a minimum of $1, I think, per track, and $9 per album.
Okay.
And an album is at least 7 tracks.
Yeah.
So, well,
yeah,
I love the song that you made for me. So how much for that one? I played that for my sister, and she just loved it. We had so much fun listening to it.
Do you want to pick that up, Mike, and play it for us? So what Mike does, and this is a very interesting discussion. We are talking about the creator economy. We're talking about using Substack as a creative hub. Mike has decided to do that with music. We're using Suno.ai. And the songs are very good. They're very good. Mm-hmm. So Lynn has a song written for her by Mike. If Mike can find it, we can play it. It's a perfect example of what he does. Now he's deciding whether do I just put that and get my 0.00000006 cents on that play? Do I sell it for $1? Or do I write these songs for people? It's a very fascinating sort of juncture you're in, Mike. It's very fascinating because you could go sort of in 3 directions here, couldn't you?
Yeah, and I'm still working on the pricing, Lynn. But just because it is so, first of all, it would be, custom. And so I'm looking at the $150, $200 range, for like an intro and an outro type of thing. And again, I'm working on tiered pricing, and this is all sort of, in flight. Because, Keith and I were talking about it last night, and I'm like, he was like, well, maybe your 3rd tier could be, like a premium, or diamond tier or something. Oh, yeah. And you could get sort of unlimited rewrites. I'm like, no, I'm not going to be offering unlimited. And he raised the point because I've actually done work on web graphics, and I'm gonna be setting pretty tight contracts for this because and again, it's going to probably take some iterations, but I'll have a form that says basically, what are you looking for? What are you looking to do? And here's the 3 tiers. And if you're a small SMB or something, you get a lower rate, but you only get kind of what I come up with like minor tweaks. And then the second tier would be, and the other thing is, like I've already done, for Felipe. I've actually done as some of you may know, I did a track for his book. He has a animated video that he now the next version of his book will have a QR code that goes to this animated video that has my track on it. So some of that, again, I'll have to work this out, but you'll have some tiers around. Okay, here's your track, and then maybe some follow-on, like some bundles or something for follow-on tracks with that. So I'm working all that out, but it's a lot easier, Keith. My point is, it's going to be a lot easier for me to just put tracks up on Bandcamp and sell them or stream, and then put this other thing over the side as I'm building out, the bundles and pricing and everything.
What you might be fascinated by is that we started the show with the idea that can you get SEO from Substack? So what we did for the first 10 minutes or so is we Googled each other. Right? We Googled each other. Now you might be fascinated to know that several people on the call Googled me in a different town, and my SoundCloud account was number 1. SoundCloud.com. It is the hidden gem. I know this. I've said this a million times. SoundCloud.com is the site no one's using. Right? And you can put your songs there, and you can have the lyrics there. You can have up to 600 words. Google loves it. Fantastic for SEO. And many, many times people have said, look, I've Googled you, Keith, and your SoundCloud comes up even above LinkedIn or even your own website. So if people were going to find you, then SoundCloud could be, and it's like there's a 2-hour for free, and that's $16 a month. And that could be even a place to put it.
Yeah, and if you're just dropping samples, 2 hours of samples is great real estate and great ROI if you're going to get the visibility.
Yeah, and I'll mention it. I want to mention this again because we need to come back to this. Shireen, if you'd love to talk, I would love to have you on stage. I don't know who you are yet. We're not following each other, but if you want to come up on stage, I'll find a way to give you the link. Do you know Shireen Zakia? Who would that be? Whose friend would that be? Because she's a paired link, so that must be someone who's paired to the account. Who has sent this link to their people?
I have,
Who
but I
is it?
don't have Shireen in my. Shireen, if you want a friend request, Keith or me or anybody on the stage, so that we could send you the link. But I am not connected. I'm not sure where she came from.
What's the last name?
Goodman.
Goodman?
Yeah.
Shireen Goodman. How do you spell Shireen?
It's CHAREEN.
There we are. Shireen Goodman.
I'm attached to her.
There it is. Can you send me the link? Now, this is I love doing this. This is live. This is all fresh and new, and we're just making this up as we go. So
she's a gem. She's a gem.
Yeah.
Let me
so if
get
you'd love
her
to
the
come up,
link.
I'd love to hear. So Mike is going to play this song for Lynn. Tell us how you did that, Mike. What was the sense of it, and where do we take you from here? I'll put you right
Well,
there so you're right.
what you're looking at right now, and this is kind of what I do, is when I'm going through the track generation for folks, I do multiple variations, but I do some research, and so I looked at Lynn's, probably her LinkedIn, or anyway, I don't remember actually where. And it's different for different people if they have more information. Like Bambi was another person I did something for, and she had her own website. So I do some research on them, and this is what I'm saying. If I'm going to do this, as a business, I'm going to have a form or something that does that intake, and then have a meeting to go over the research, and then start writing the lyrics. And then so I write the lyrics, and then I start doing different variations of the song. And I think the first one, which is more country, is the one Lynn enjoyed. I don't know if she's heard these other ones, but anyway, let me play it for you. And I'll get the these are the lyrics.
Lynn's got stories to tell. Been a wife and mother, knows that life well. Psychology, finance, driving around town, turning I don't know to knowledge she's found. Real estate deals and sales on the side. Makeup and events, she's taking that ride. Dream vacations, calling her name. Paris and Bali, never the same. Pack your bags, let's explore. Life's an adventure, there's always more. Dream vacations, cultures to see. Follow in, she holds the key. Every woman rolled into one. From boardroom meetings to chasing the sun. Marketing plans and powder and paint, she's done it all without complaint. Fascinated by places she's been. Ready to wander and start once again. Dream vacations, calling her phone. Paris and Bali, never the same. Pack your bags, let's explore. Life's an adventure, there's always more. Dream vacations, cultures to see. Follow Lynn, she holds the key. Lover of people, lover of life. Through all the chaos, joy and strife, she finds the beauty in every place. Puts wonder and magic in every space. Tour guide ready with map in hand. She'll show you beauty across the land. Let me find out is what she says. When others give up, she forges ahead. Inspired in wanderlust in everyone. Her mission's clear, it's never done. To spark that flame, that travel bug. Give the world a great big hug.
Sing it with me.
America, here we go. Wild rides to places you've yet to know. Lynn's superpower lights the way. Adventures calling, don't delay. She's the travel guide you've waited for. Opening up each hidden door. Life's an adventure, that's her creed. Lynn's got
applause for Mike.
Yes.
Round of applause for Mike. Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah, that's nice.
The interesting
So
the
wow.
interesting thing is Lynn had we didn't collaborate on this, meaning that this was a surprise to Lynn.
Yeah.
So when you see the, like her business is Dream Vacations, right? So when you're seeing some of these, like let me find out. So these were all pulled from, I think it was her LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So that would not be typically what I'm doing for a bespoke one, unless they want me to do a kind of a surprise track. But it would be more, okay, what do you want, or what are the points you're trying to drive home? So anyway.
Very, very, very cool. Like, I mean, it's so cool.
Love it.
And hello, Shireen. Jump in. I hope we've pronounced your name right.
Yes, you guys have been doing well. I just, I saw Bez pop up. I was checking my LinkedIn and I said, oh, let me check this out. And then the conversation was going and I'm like, oh my God, this is great. I have no idea what you guys were using. But yeah, so I'm Shireen Goodman. Hello.
Well, tell us what you're doing. Where are you in the world, and what do you think of all this live streaming stuff? I'm going to send you a screenshot of this, but it's a pretty cool way to get the word out. Tell us. Before today, we didn't know each other.
Oh, okay.
Now I've got an opportunity to meet a new friend on the other side of the world, and you get to hear this funny Aussie speaking over here.
Yes, I noticed
So,
that.
what do you do, and what do you use to get the word out for your business?
Oh, that's a great question. So I am a business coach, consultant, and my focus really right now is really to help my clients get the word out by really building their authority brand on LinkedIn, right? Like getting noticed, really showing up in order to attract their ideal clients, leads and clients. So that's pretty much what my focus is right now. There's been a lot of shifting on LinkedIn, and I do think for professional business owners that work in the B2B space, that this is the place to be. But in order to be successful, you need to show up. And I believe not just as a personal brand, because we all are a personal brand, whether we know it or not, but to show up as an authority that has expertise, that people see you as somebody who can solve their problem and will pay you for
I
it.
love this. Now, let's dance back to LinkedIn for a while. What do you do? Do you write articles? Do you do a podcast? Do you do live streams? How do you propose we get the word out?
It's a great
What's
question.
the-
I think it's a combination of a number of things. I created a formula called the Authority Brand Formula because it's not a one thing when it comes to creating visibility and getting the word out, regardless of whether you're on LinkedIn or not. So I call it the Authority Brand Formula. It's called, the first is branding. You have to create a brand. You have to create a position, right? You can't just be arbitrary, because nowadays arbitrary doesn't work. You need to get specific on what I'd like to say is, how do you want to be positioned in the mind of your ideal future client? What does that look like? When I think about Mike, listening to what you're saying, and I think the music that you did for Lynn is phenomenal. I do not think it's a commodity. I do not think it's something that you get 0.00000001 paid on. I would not position you that way, just so as you know. The second thing on LinkedIn is
just for clarity, the custom tracks would not be streamed. Custom tracks would be like for Lynn or whatever, however you're going to use it. It would be a one-time fee, probably starting out like $100 to $500, and like I said, I'm going to have a couple tiers as far as pricing, but it's going to be very limited as far as distribution. Distribution would be tracks that are already done that I think have maybe some ability to be played on the radio. So they're two
Mhm.
different, two
And again,
different.
I would think about positioning.
Yep.
Yes,
Let's have this.
100%.
Let's have that chat. This is a very, very good live start. We don't know you yet, Shireen, so you've got a chance to chat to all of these people. So here's a guy called Mike who writes songs. Now he could sell them individually. He could put them on Spotify and get 0.0006 cents per play. He could set up a Bandcamp session and sell them for $1. But this is a new venture. I'd love to know. Let's do a bit of a masterclass on this, as much as you want to do that. What would you do for someone like Mike on LinkedIn or anywhere to get him out to the world? He's got a very unique skill, a very unique proposition. I don't know anyone else doing this, offering these bespoke songs for you for $100.
Which, yeah, for $100, which is excellent, Mike, because it's unique. Because what you do is unique. And that's the deal. You need to find out why. What is it, what I call your unique way to play? What is it that you bring to the table, and why would somebody need that? When I think about Lynn, why did Lynn need the song that she needed? Right? So when you think about that, it's like you're not. And so when you think about even LinkedIn, LinkedIn is an ocean of all different types of fish. I call it the LinkedIn Ocean. But you want to find the fish that are right for you, the ones that are why they need this song, and one that can make it very special. Somebody said that they love country music, right? When I think about how can somebody, whether it's for a podcast, whether it's for, let's say they're trying to make an impression, I'm just spitballing here, right? With a new, maybe a new client, and they want something catchy, because that's what music does. It's catchy, right? But there's also something behind the music. So when I think about that, you don't want to position yourself as somebody on Spotify. I'm just, again, spitballing. You want to position yourself as a master. Well, I don't want to necessarily say composer, but something that really sets you apart, and then you go from there, right? So when I think about that, like the second thing, like I haven't looked at your profile, I would look at your profile and see, what does it say? If it says nothing, you get nothing. But if it says the right thing, the right people will see it, and I guarantee you, you will start to get inbound people inquiring about that, right? Your content should always be speaking. I call your content on LinkedIn your commercial, your authority commercial. You're not just putting content out to put content out. You are putting out commercial, right? Why? What are you talking about, right? And it should be quote unquote authority positioned, always sharing or saying something about what you do, the problem people have, blah, 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 blah. All right. So that's the first portion of the formula. The next one is E, engagement. Engagement is important. If you don't engage, why would somebody engage with you? You have to engage on 3 levels: commenting, connections, and conversations in the DMs. And then the last element is T, time. You have to be consistent and persistent. Because a one-time, when you look at a commercial, you don't see it just one time and expect somebody to remember you. It is consistency that is important to build credibility and trust that leads to conversations and then to conversions. So I hope that makes sense. So
this is extraordinary. And how does live streaming play into that? Do you have a podcast? Do you do video? Or are you more into writing?
All of the above. I used to do a podcast called Crack the Coaching Code. So that's a framework that I follow. So I did that for about a year. But right now, one of my biggest things, I love to write. So I do write. I do post. I just started really doing a video based off of my newsletter, right? So that's a strategy that I just implemented, and I'm seeing how that goes. So I write a newsletter, and then I do a short video behind that to kind of open it up. a little bit more, but so I'm just testing that out. So I have this thing called my authority lab where I test things with clients. We test things, right? You will not know whether or not something works unless you test it to see if it works for you. So so that's what I'm doing right now. But I write, I post probably at least 5 to 6 days a week, you know. And not necessarily with lives I do. So I have something, I have not launched it yet, but something you're going to be like authority, called the Authority Lounge, which is really kind of like a live like this. It would just be sitting and talking about why authority matters for not just even on LinkedIn, but for your business. If you cannot solve somebody's problem, why would they pay you? You have to be an authority in the eyes of your clients, of your future clients, and not just some knob, right? Like, anyway. So I do love what you guys have put together. What this thing, I think is phenomenal. I love it.
Yeah, well, what I love about it is that we've met you now, and you've met some new people, and you've had a chance to talk to our tribe, our community, and we are building something really quite wonderful. And
Yes, I can see that.
I'm so proud of this. I'm proud of this. So we have our Brady Bunch moment. Does anyone know the theme song? There was a man. His name
It's a
was Brady.
story. Yeah.
This is a story about a man called
Of a
Brady
lovely lady.
who met a lovely lady who had 6 kids of her own. Together they formed a union, and that's all I know. We've got our Brady Bunch moment. So,
Very
like what you're saying, Shireen, I'm doing this with a fun element. Like my shows are fun. They are really sort of fun to be part of, and they're fun to do. And so I guess my brand is this guy from the other side of the world that does these random shows on the internet. That's my brand. So if you wanted to know more about that, you'd come to this. If you like writing, no point on my side. I hate writing. If you like reading,
you don't like
No. Keith's brand is audio.
isn't it? Look
He's
at it.
he's an audio schnob.
Schnob, I am. Yeah.
And he was a musician in the past, so he's a bit of a musician snob too. But his brand, and he even has a radio voice, I think.
I like the accent. The accent is good. And I would say, I don't know, I haven't looked at your profile, but one thing I think, again, why I am impressed with this, so LinkedIn took away the audio side of their lives, right? And I think because it's hard for people to always want to be on the video side. Video is hard because you have to be on. I mean, you know what I mean? You have to be on and all that. And I think sometimes that's kind of hard for people. But audio is a great way to still kind of present live. And I think that, for one thing, I would just say that this is a solution for people who still want to do audio. So I like what you have here.
And we've had a lot of discussions about why just audio. Now, Keith prefers it, but I'm saying, and I don't know if you know of any of these people, but I used to follow pretty religiously Joe Rogan, or a lot of people know Joe Rogan, but I follow a gentleman by the name of Lex Fridman. I don't watch. He's on YouTube. I don't watch YouTube. I listen to YouTube. And I think actually a lot of people do that. Like they may listen to it in the car, what have you. So I think a lot of people are thinking, and probably YouTube is thinking that I'm watching it, but I'm not. I'm listening to it, and I actually use Lex as a sleep aid, or used to. So I think this is a really cool idea because one of the things that Keith and I have talked about too is it gets a little busy when you're running the studio on any of these any of these streaming platforms. There's a lot of moving parts. And unless you're going to hire a producer or someone to help you, you can get real busy. And I think if you're trying to do the video and everything else, it gets fun.
I could get that. That's sort of like what Zakia was talking about with the WordPress thing, right? Like if you don't have the time, then you need somebody with the money to do it, right? But if you
Yep.
have the time, then yeah. So I get that. And I mean, it's for me, it's fascinating because I do think, especially, I assume that everyone out here is a small business owner. Is that correct? Maybe.
I am. Yep.
Yeah. That in there, and I have a client right. I have a client right now. It's funny. It's like you need some technical skills, okay? Because if you don't have the technical skills, you're going to need the money to pay for this. And I think that that's something that a lot of people just don't think about, right? But yeah, so even trying to do a live or trying to start off small, like, maybe not. And maybe that's why for me, I do a lot of writing. Easier for me to push out content that way than trying to set up, even though I do want to do my Authority Lounge, get that going. But it's like, okay, I don't have the time right now to set that up, right? And I am one for systems in place. So I need to know that this is going to just flow like this without a whole lot of technical hiccups, and so I see your point though, Mike. I really do.
Well, the
Mike,
thing
I
is,
did have some Oh, go ahead. Sorry,
no,
Keith.
you go, Zakia. Yeah, that's okay. You go.
So I love the fact that you started on Bandcamp, but the business owner in me won't let you stay there for long. You are going to get eaten up in those fees. And I think you have something really, really unique. And even considering leveraging Facebook's music monetization system for the songs that you're writing. Because if people use those songs, so you never know what goes viral, or not even viral, just using it. You get paid a percentage of that ad revenue for the content that you're putting out there in the Facebook music system. So tagging yourself, like making sure that, again, that metadata, the same thing we were talking about with your website, like who the composer is, the publisher, you as the owner. Anytime somebody uses that song, you never could have met them, but because it's something that you created, you get paid. And eventually, I do want you to move off of Bandcamp. I just did a search, and their fees are 15% of the sale, and it drops to 10% once you've made $5,000 in a 12-month period. And so if you just had even a Wix site, I would even allow you to get a Wix site where you're only paying the Stripe and PayPal transaction fees. And you're just uploading the same content that you're uploading to Bandcamp, you could upload to your own Wix site. And I guess, again, the whole Substack conversation that we had, Bandcamp has a niche audience. So if they're the people that you're targeting, yes, leave your content there. But for you to do the sales, like those things you did with Lynn, that transaction should be happening on your home base, where you're only paying the payment processing fees, not the processing from the company that just has the website for you to have your stuff posted.
Zakia, that's a really fair point. That's why I was researching whether I could actually. Stripe allows it for subscriptions. I don't know if you can. I'm going to research to see if they allow you to do it. Otherwise, I would just set up a Stripe account. To your point, and then I'll have to do like a Google form or whatever to to send them over to Stripe and have payment that way.
And Stripe has invoices, so you can do it that way too. So yeah,
Yep.
don't send people to Bandcamp to buy. That's all I'm saying.
Well, yeah. My only thought behind Bandcamp was eyeballs.
Yes, that makes sense.
Just for clarity, there's two different businesses we're talking about. One is, for lack of a better word, radio ready songs. The other one is the bespoke songs. They're two different businesses or business streams.
Mm-hmm.
The bespoke would
Yeah.
be completely separate and wouldn't go to Bandcamp.
Okay, great. Okay, my little heart was pitter pattering like, no way. Okay, that's good to hear.
Mm-hmm.
And Shireen, when you talk about authority, do you assume that people have already got this all worked out, or do you sometimes get very newbies at this and you have to guide them through a website and these sorts of things as well? Because that was what the
Have
majority
it
of this
worked out. I mean, even the people that have been,
You go.
yeah, even the people that are in existence for a while, you know, their authority is they don't understand how they show up, if they show up, right? So for me, like the first thing I call it position to profit. You have to have positioning in order to get profit, right? So there is typically work with like for my what I and if you know, so my consultant background, I mean, I'm a consultant among consultants, right? We deal with acronyms, we deal with, you know, formulas and so forth. So I call it the 1111 strategy. Real simple. One niche, one problem, one signature solution, and one offer. Get clear on those four
A
things.
confused,
One,
a
one,
confused
one,
mind
one.
says no, doesn't it?
Says no, right? So even for a confused business owner, doesn't know, right? You're going around in circles. But if you get clear on who is it that I'm serving, one niche, not five, right? What is the problem? Ideally, you know, what's his name? Russell Brunson called it the big domino. What is the theme? What's the belief? What's the problem that they're really having and really struggling with, right? So when I think about the problem that I see often by small business owners, lead coaches and consultants primarily, is that they one target everybody. Oh, everybody's and we've heard that. No, you don't target everybody. You can't target everybody, right? Well, what problem do they solve? Do you work with teams? Do you work with executive levels? Whose problem are you solving? Who are the people? What problem are they really having? You know, what is your signature solution? You should have some IP. Every expert should have some form of an IP. When I think about Mike, Mike has some kind of IP there around his music. You have to have something that people can hook onto, and then an offer. Is the offer that solves the problem, etc. So that 1111 strategy is the basic foundation, and most people
Let
don't
me
have
comment,
that.
Shireen. Do you have? I sort of know the answer, but I'm interested in hearing you say it. Do you have some people say, no, I don't want a niche. I've got 4 different businesses. Well, it's a stupid idea, isn't it?
I wouldn't say that it's stupid because here we all need multiple streams of income. We do. I don't care what anybody says. You need multiple streams of income, different ways, because everybody is not going to fit, right? But if you have 4 distinct businesses, then you still need to apply that same framework to each one of your businesses so that you're not, you know, remember I was taking French and Italian at the same time, got into a country and now I was speaking French in Italy. It's like they are people like, what's she talking about? We don't need that. We don't want that, right? So we need to have the distinct lanes in each lane. If you have a different distinct business, you still need to know who are you talking to, what's your niche, what problem are they having that they're willing to pay you for. That's another big deal, right? That they are willing to pay you for. And again, I always love having IP, some kind of signature solution that says you're an authority, and then your offer. So even if you have 4, but you can't, you know, I heard somebody say you can't look up and look down at the same time. You have to focus. What's your focus? Right. So, and those are the little nuances I think that even though we're all in business, but that's what burns us out because we're chasing and we're running rather than being clear on what we do and who we serve.
Love this. I just love this discussion.
Mhm.
Now, we have met you all for the first time tonight, Shireen, and this is exactly what my show is. We now know about you. And so you can come on my show anytime. I'll send you an invitation to connect if we are not connected yet. But
Well,
I
thank
didn't
you.
know you before today. And now all of this wisdom was going wasted. And now I can introduce you to all my friends in Australia. So
Oh,
this is why I do this show. This is why I do this show. It's, as Mike calls, eyeballs. So we're just having a chat using Substack as your creative hub. We got the Brady Bunch moment. There was a story about a name named Brady who was living with 3 kids of his own. You know, so we've got this Brady Bunch moment. We're having fun. We're learning things. We're meeting new people. I think this is a hell of a lot more interesting than going into the city in a suit and spending an hour on a train to hang out with people I've never met before. I'm never doing that again.
Very nice. Well, I mean, I was excited. I love the conversation about WordPress because, you know, and when I think about Substack, I don't use Substack. Love WordPress. And as I mentioned earlier, like, I don't know where people are with that. I think I probably came in a bit late on the conversation. But one thing that when I think about WordPress, and I love the lifetime thing, people need to understand, I tell all the time, you need to try to find a lifetime deal, right? Because you're trying to pay a subscription every month is not a good look when you cannot pay that subscription. I think about Square. What is that? What's the website? Was it that somebody bought the Square website? I don't know. Does anybody? It's like a Wix, but
is it Squarespace?
It was called Squarespace. Yes, Squarespace. People love Squarespace. Squarespace. I was working with a client. I went to their site, and their site was down. I was like, that'll totally tank your authority, right? Like, why is so people are looking at that. And that's because she probably missed the subscription. And so if you can get a lifetime deal or WordPress, because WordPress is you have it hosted, right? But your site is there. If you're doing a subscription and your site is down, I don't know. I'm just saying that those little things, they do matter. Not that everything is perfect, but you want to consider those things. And I think about WordPress like VHS and beta, right? WordPress is the champ. Even though there might be other sites that have the new bells and whistles, but WordPress will outlast beta, I believe.
WordPress
And
VHS.
yes,
It's a great analogy. It's a great analogy. There may actually be people listening to this call that don't know what we're talking about. This is a 20th century technology.
But
I never used Betamax. I've never even seen a machine. It came and went before I entered the market. But, you know, we all know the story. Beta was better, but it didn't last. And
because that's a classic business case. Yeah. And you want to be paying attention to that. It's a classic business case that you study in business school, but to understand that you know, you need something that's going to last, especially when it comes to your business. And when I think about WordPress, that's one of those things. You know, there are also, if you can't really do a WordPress site, consider a landing page software that's going to be around for a while, right? Where you can build your site on a landing page. And if you're just make sure that, you know, that it's going to last and that it integrates with other technologies. That's the biggest thing. That's why I won't use anything other than WordPress, because the integration is important, you know, so.
And what are your thoughts on Substack? Have you been playing that game? Is it just another shiny toy?
No, I can't handle another Substack. I can't handle a Slack. Somebody said it was too funny. You know, people doing Slack whack-a-mole. I was like, oh my God, right. Just all over the place. No, I just need it clean as much as possible. But
yeah, I get you. I totally get you. My role in the world, I'm a very unique character in the sense that I'm always trying new things. That is my role. That's my job. My job is to try new things and give others an opinion. Have you tried this yet?
I think that's important.
Yeah, that's my role. That's what I do. That's my job. That's my position. That's my passion. Yeah. So we compare sites, we compare tech, we compare mixes, we compare mics. And it's a great passion project for me. So I don't share your thoughts there, but I love trying new things. But of course, you can't be just switching all the time. But one thing that's very important for me, especially in Australia, is I have been doing this show for years and years and years. And in January 2024, I was doing the show, and there was 300 people watching. Right, and this person who didn't know much about this was the guest, and I was sort of holding their hand. And we got to a point where the audience was sort of really getting it, and we're just about to go to question time. And LinkedIn sends me a message. Sorry, we think you're a robot. We're banning you for 4 days. And the site went black. It just died in the air. I don't know if anyone was on this call for that day, but my mate who, he rang me. He says, "Well, where am I? I mean, I'm just stuck here, mate. Where'd you go? Where'd you go? I'm stuck here. There's all these people asking me questions. I don't even know what buttons to push. What are you doing? What happened?" 4 days. I lost LinkedIn for 4 days.
Yeah.
I can't live that way. It was shocking. I'm never doing that again. So I always have a backup. So my shows go to LinkedIn, Substack, and YouTube now.
Okay.
Because we use a site that allows multi-streaming. So if this site goes dead on LinkedIn, people can always pick it up on YouTube. And Substack's the new kid on the block. It's bloody good as a creator. But it's a shiny new object that not everyone's heard of. And it has that, oh, no, not another one. I can't deal with another one, Keith. Oh, no. What's this one called? How long is that going to take me to learn? What's it called again? Is it free? Do I have to do this? And
but see, I think that's a good point, though. If what you do, and so to me, when I think about what you're talking about, Keith, is that's where you then would write your content about that, right? Because somehow you see that there is value in Substack. I don't know what it is. Maybe there's 10 things, and people who read your content will say, oh, well, let me go test it. I'd call it the 3 T's. Let me try it, test it, and tweak it. If I've done this for, let's say, at least 90 days to see whether it works, great. And if it doesn't work because I cannot add this to my toolbox, it's okay. But at least they've gone out and they've tested something to see whether it's workable. And then they might tweak it in that period of time to set a parameter, like, is this something that I find value in? So I don't know. When I think about that, there are things, because there are tools out there that I think are very, very necessary for small businesses to really help their business so they're not running around all the time. But only somebody, after they've tested it, will really know if it works for them.
Yeah.
But so I think that what you are putting out there, that makes a lot of sense. So that's why you would write about it, that here's what we're testing right now. Right? That's like my Authority Lab. This is what we're testing right now.
Yeah.
We don't know if it's going to work for you, but you got to test it out.
Yeah, someone's got to go first, right? And Substack is that for me. So my Substack account. Oh no, I hate acronyms. MVT and ICP. That is that a band? Can you make sure that the NVT is for your ICP?
I use them all. MVP and my ICP and my CFF and IFC.
Let's do a Bad Bunny song. Let's do this best. Let's do a Bad Bunny song for MVT and SVP, and I don't know what that means. What does MVT and ICP
Keith,
mean? What does that mean?
MVT is minimum viable test. And ICP is
ideal
client profile.
Ideal client profile. You need one.
Did you actually mean MVP, minimal viable product?
No, it's a T for the test. You need the P too, but you need the T first.
Yes. Everybody's making up
minimal. I haven't heard the test one.
Viable test.
I've heard of them both.
Heard that one.
Yeah, I've heard of them both because how are you going to test for P if you don't do the T?
Yeah.
See, you guys sound like consultants.
And Bez, we can walk through this offline, but this all started when I went down the rabbit hole of using AI to do this, actually, including a LinkedIn.
Now you're in my territory.
Including a LinkedIn profile. Now I'm writing on Perplexity because I'm graduating slowly over to Perplexity from ChatGPT. I'm actually writing agents for Perplexity to do this.
Yeah, I called them bots, but they're just someone corrected me and said they're an AI. It's a AI agentic.
Yep.
And
It's a bot.
I'm writing an app. Yeah, I call it a bot, but I have.
I want to share a story about the creative process with the bots. So on Monday, because we're a day ahead, I asked Substack, when am I going to get this live streaming feature? And I got this bot that says, hello, Keith, it appears you don't have the live streaming feature. Is that correct? Yes. When am I going to get it? We don't know when you're going to get this feature, but please hold tight. Have I solved your problem? Yes or no? No! I want the live streaming feature. It appears that you don't have the live streaming feature. Would you like to talk to a real person? Yes! I want to talk to a real person about getting the live streaming feature. Okay, I will send your email to one person in our creative team and they will contact you soon. Have I solved your problem? No!
Right. Now, see, that's a problem, isn't it? That's a problem we're solving. That's what people really need right now.
Guess what? I got out of nowhere, the button appeared the next day. So someone read this file and says, oh, mate, this guy's a bit of a rogue. We better give him this feature or else he would just hang on forever. So, these bots, I mean, we think they're great, but people hate them.
They do.
Yeah.
We hate them. I hate them. Yesterday, I bought tickets to this band called Garbage. They're playing in Melbourne. That's a strange name for a band, but they are pretty cool. They're not garbage. And I said, well, look, I didn't get the tickets. I'm sorry, there's no one here to answer your call. I'll send some. And I said, can I just talk to someone, please? I paid you your money. Can I just talk to a real person? Can you send me my tickets? And it took me bloody an hour to get tickets I'd paid for online to be sent to me. Like, I mean, it was a problem. There's no one there. There's no one there anymore. So, I mean, I'm a boomer. So I guess, I've still got a printer and I use a landline. So, I'm a boomer. And they said, well, can you just download the app and put the tickets in your Google Wallet? I said, oh, clearly I'm not the target market. My wife went, can you download the app and put the e-ticket in your Google Wallet and display it on the day and we'll scan the QR code so you can get in? So can't I just print it and show it to you at the gate? I'm dating myself. And my wife says, boomer!
But that's so big, right? When you think about whether you are a boomer, Gen X, Gen Y, Gen Z, millennial, whatever, we have our own way of how we deal with things, right? Technology is moving at such a speed. Now you got AI and people don't know what to do with that. That is a problem for that specific niche of people. So when you think about people, boomers, who want to go and see the Garbage band, but can't figure out how to get their tickets. Are you kidding me? They're probably like, I don't use Google Wallet. What is that? I just figured out my Google email. Right? So you would have the opportunity, who are the course creators here, or the people that, here's how you could hook it all up. So the course creator creates a little tutorial of how to set up a Google wallet for blah, 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 make sure it's all clear, set up. And then Mike writes a little jingle to help them remember these are the steps as you follow A, B, C, and D. Put it someplace. I'm telling you, people will be like, thank you.
Yeah. I'm
Because
going to
they
sing this
don't
band
get
called
what
Garbage,
somebody who,
but I got to get my Google wallet
know,
first. You know?
just something.
This is
It's,
great. I
it's
mean,
wild. You know, you
sure.
have to look at your granddaughter and say, "Can you set this up for me?" And they're
That's
like,
right.
"Yeah, sure, I can do that." Oh my god!
So, Garbage is a band.
So
I think-
anyway,
I think they're a 90s band. They were a band. It's a strange name for a band. But they're sort of a
Yeah,
punk band if you don't know who they are. They're sort of a punk band, sort of female singer, a little bit like Linkin Park. And anyway, I'm a headbanger. So, you know, I played in bands with real instruments on real stages in front of real people, like back in the day. So, you know, I like to see bands who play their instruments and sing in front of a crowd so I can sing with them in front of a crowd. Right? I'm
you're
a real
not
person.
alone. You're
Yeah.
not alone. There are people out there that want the same thing that you do and can't get their tickets. Are you they're like, what? So,
There's a whole course in this. Google Wallet. That's what she said. Can you put the e-ticket in your Google Wallet and we'll scan the QR code on the day? Now that just try telling my dad. My dad's 88. Dad,
absolutely.
can you scan your QR code in your Google
He'd be
Wallet?
like, a Q, what? What? What is that? I mean,
just
people
wanna
who
go to the
even
bloody
know don't even
concert.
understand code. Well, these are the problems that solve. People will pay you for peace of mind.
Yeah.
People will pay you for not having to have that aggravation. QR code. How do I do it? Oh, you mean I have to have a phone to do this? Yeah, a smartphone? Absolutely, because that little flip phone won't do it. Oh, now I got another problem. You see what I'm saying? And when I think about this, the chain, those people who automatically assume you understand Google Wallet means that they are not baby boomers who would go and see the garbage ban, which is crazy. I'm like, oh, okay, they need to find their 1111 strategy because they have missed something.
Oh,
Anyway,
process.
sorry, it's too funny.
It is funny because the Garbage Band was a 90s band. So anyone who would be following Garbage, it's a very niche market. It only holds 3,000 people. So the venue is very niche. It's very bespoke, and there's only 3,000 tickets, and we got them. We got in. I'm lucky. I got in, and so I got to see this band, which we do love, and they've got great songs. And but the band came out in 1990, right? So if the band started in 1990 and I was 21, just say, then I've got to be like at least 55, right? Yes. So anyone that's going to go and see Garbage, who was a 90s band, is going to be in their 50s at least. They're definitely not going to be under 40. Although I did see a 5-year-old at the Guns N' Roses concert, and that was pretty funky. He was singing songs with his dad. He's on the shoulders of his dad's. He's rah-rahing, doing the headbanging gig. 5 years old, like he wasn't even born when the songs came out. But his dad loves him. So this is a very, very, very related topic to the bespoke musica thing. Like, I was a musician. I played in bands with real instruments in front of real people. That is going away. I can download a whole album of songs made by a guy on his PC. He's never played music before. He punches in a key, got a whole album pops out, cost me $1. I can listen to it while I'm making my lunch. And it's a different world, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's funny, but I'm making a point. I'm making a point to it's 1984. We're going round in circles, but what we're talking about here is the idea of should we add Substack to the mix? And you're saying, Shireen, that you just can't bring yourself to try another one, can you?
Right now, unless I really saw the value of what Substack does, I get a lot of, I don't know if anybody else has this, but I get a lot of people and I get the overload because they want to add me to their Substack, and now I need to read something else. And even I have a challenge with people reading my newsletter on a regular basis, right? Because there's just so much overload. But the biggest thing, and this is just for me and what I'm trying to help with my clients, at some point we don't want to work forever. You know what I mean? I don't know about you. I'm not trying to work forever. So what does that mean? Your systems need to be in place. Get the system optimized as much as possible. Follow the system until it's working and if you know your system, know whether or not you need to insert something else, right? And so when I'm adding another Substack and I think about or adding Substack and I think about my quote unquote prospect leads, clients, I'm trying to minimize as much friction for them as possible. And if I add something else, because it's bad enough, I need to change my email service provider because the one that I've been using for years decided that they're now they're going to totally increase the cost of their service. And I'm like, well, I don't need a Escalade when my, what is that? What do I call that? When my, I don't know, my little pint size SUV works.
Pinto.
Your
A Pinto. Yeah. A Pinto. That's funny, right? When my Pinto works, right? Anyway, so I was like, wow, so now I need to modify that. And the thing is, what I love about what Zakia says, I have an email service provider that I got on a lifetime deal. I am okay. Let them go, move to the one that I have for my lifetime deal, because it also does other things for me than what I am currently paying for. So I'm like, okay, I'll be cool. But now I got to make that shift and get everybody off of that email service provider and go to the one that I am on a lifetime deal with and do not have to pay anything else for it. So anyway, I say that to say to understand what your system is, what your processes are, optimize before trying to add more stuff and reduce the friction for your people coming in.
And tell us a bit about how we can help you, Shireen. We've met you for the first time today. How can everyone?
I know, and I haven't met everybody. I want to hear from who. I'm sorry, I know I came in late, but Well,
let's do a round table. Let's give everyone a turn and give everyone a chance to talk about what they do. I'm in Melbourne, Australia. I do these shows every week on LinkedIn, now Substack and YouTube. You've heard from me. What does Lynn do? Lynn is a very cool person, lives in Bama. She's a cruise specialist. If you need a holiday, you have to go to Lynn. We all need a holiday. It's a matter of whether you want to do that as a cruise or whatever. So what do you do, Lynn? Tell us your thing. Let's give everyone a turn to wrap up. We've been going for 3 hours. 3 hours. I just never get sick. I never get sick of this. I'm just going to keep going.
Yeah. I'm Lynn, and I am a travel advisor, franchise owner, Dream Vacations. What I do though is that my specialty is cruise and river cruise. And so if you're interested in that, learning more, follow me here on Substack, LinkedIn.
And she even has her own theme song.
Yeah.
Nice.
Dream Vacations. Lynn, Dream Vacations. Oh, they were coming in.
I love that. That was great.
Very nice.
And with that,
Very nice.
Lynn's song was written by Mike. Tell us what you do, Mike. I know you do a lot of things, but what do you think you want people today to know you for? What can we help you with?
Well, as a former chief information security officer, I am pivoting into the singer. I used to sing, but the songwriter, poet space, mostly songwriting. And you can find me at my my Substack, which is bespokemusica.substack.com.
What about if someone like Shireen wanted to find you? This is a very good question. What about if Shireen wanted to find you but didn't have Substack? Can you look at Substack without having an account?
Yes.
This is exactly why this is the thing we need to consider. What happens if someone wants to find you but doesn't have a site on the site you have? Is it open
Well,
for anyone?
I did want to bring that up, actually, Keith. Thanks for bringing that up. That's another thing that I think is very powerful about Substack. I can post very quickly from Substack to LinkedIn. So if I want to be found on LinkedIn, and I'm actually driving traffic now from LinkedIn, why? Because I'm known on LinkedIn as in cybersecurity, but I want to get known, and I don't necessarily want to do it on LinkedIn yet, as a songwriter. So I'm posting stuff on as myself on LinkedIn, but I'm driving the traffic back to Substack, and I can do that to YouTube. I can do that to Instagram. I can do that to TikTok. And that's, to me, that's the power, and I believe why I would use this over LinkedIn. LinkedIn doesn't allow me, yes, it allows me to create some stuff, but it doesn't allow me to push anywhere. So Substack allows me to push almost anywhere. And, the big ones are, to me, are YouTube and LinkedIn right now, but eventually, I'll probably, and TikTok for music is going to be big because I'm going to drive eyeballs to Substack to Substack so they can find my streams, and then to Bandcamp so they can buy them, they can buy the tracks or the albums.
It's the whole elevator pitch, isn't it? I mean, you meet Richard Branson on the 19th floor. You got 19 seconds to tell him what you're doing. Hi, yeah, look, hello, Richard. My name's Keith, and I'm in Melbourne, and I have a band, and I have a lovely wife, and that was lovely to meet you, mate. We'll see ya. You got 19 seconds from the 19th floor to the ground. You got to get really into it. Like, you just got to tell them in one word. What do you do? I do live streams on YouTube. Good. That's it. That's what I do. Live streams on YouTube.com.
I'm a songwriter.
Yeah. I mean, we all fluff about and we tell everyone everything we're doing, but it takes us like 5 minutes.
Where do you want to travel, and who do you want to bring with you? That's the question. That's the question I'm going to ask.
Bingo.
So where's your favorite place to go, and who do you want to bring along?
So let's go.
Keith.
It's that time of the night again, folks.
Yeah.
Oh, did we lose him?
Australia and the world loves Keith, but the internet does not.
And he just got a better. Or he's working. Just got a better upgraded internet installed.
Internet, yeah, he's got 500 download and about 40 or 50 upload. He should be fine.
All right,
unless
he's back.
Unless it overheated.
I just spent the whole day on Monday in the freezing cold with the doors open with a technician in the roof.
Yeah.
And I got my internet up to 520 megabytes a second, and I still drop out. Man, I'm so frustrated. So,
but look at the silver lining. You would have been into your third or fourth dropout by now.
That's right. I just drop out less. So, who are we up to? We're talking to Jason. I really want to pick up on Jason. He's a dude, a good mate of mine from a long time ago, and we just reconnected. And you're probably eating dinner there in Red Deer, Alberta. But can you tell us a little bit about what you do and how this fits in with your creative plan?
Yes, hello. Keith and I used to talk to each other on the regular a couple of years ago. By day, I am a science teacher. I'm a high school chemistry teacher. But by night, I'm Batman. No, just kidding. I actually have massive social media accounts with my dogs. And through them, we teach science, but also make people laugh and feel good about themselves. So that's my side gig.
But it's soon to be a possible front hustle, isn't it?
It's getting there. Yeah. I know I no longer teach full time because it's grown quite a bit. It hasn't got there really fast though. So it's been like 6 or 7 years growing it. But yeah, we've got 250,000 followers on Instagram and 250,000 followers on Facebook. Just about 200,000 on Twitter, and we do monetize our content through Facebook, which is nice. And then of course we've got merch, and we just finished a book that just arrived today, actually, and I have been printing shipping labels while listening to you all. So
Wow.
I love talking to all these creative souls. We're doing so much really interesting work here. So that's good. Jason's in Red Deer, Alberta. Bunsen and Beaker is his official handle because that's his 2 dogs.
three dogs, Keith. We got a puppy last summer named
Ah!
Bernoulli.
Wow.
So so it's Bunsen, Beaker, and Bernoulli. And Bernoulli is the most popular one because he's a silly guy.
And very, very cute.
Well, he was a very cute puppy, and then he fell in love with our cat, and they had this whole thing on social media, which was hilarious.
Wow. Wow.
Wow.
I never get sick of these shows.
But yeah, it's hard to relate to what I do because you guys all do something very different.
But it's very interesting. Like, you are a science teacher by day, and then because you have dogs and you love dogs, you thought, why don't I do a little funky thing on Instagram where I take pictures of my dog? And then, 6 years go past, and you're at the point where you've got stuffies of your dogs, T-shirts of your dogs, and so many people following you that you can actually make a living posting pictures of dogs. This is a great story. Like, we should make a 60-minute special about you. This is
Something, yeah.
this is such a great story. This is like the dream come true. You're a good teacher. You love teaching, but you also love dogs and posting funky photos with them in lab coats and glasses. And people love those.
Hey, Keith, I got a question. Guess which job is easier? The answer is not being a teacher.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, the job with the dogs is easier?
Oh, yeah. They're dogs. You want them to do something, you give them a treat. If I want my high school students to do something, I can give them a treat. That doesn't necessarily mean they'll do anything.
Yeah.
And they still might poop on the floor.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, you're doing high school chemistry. Like you've got them right at that danger zone, haven't you? Where they're full of energy and they've got tech in there. Like, you could be burning down buildings.
I kid. Yes, the students I teach interbaccalaureate chemistry. So my students are awesome, and I do love my job. I'm not a middle school teacher where kids are throwing desks and sandwiches and stuff like that. So, yeah.
But we've been friends for a very long time, and we've seen that develop. And since I've known Jason since I was doing Twitter Spaces, before Twitter became something else. Then LinkedIn became LinkedIn Audio Events. That went away. Now here we are doing LinkedIn, Substack, and YouTube at the same time. And this is the first time I'm very, very excited. This is the first time we've ever had all 9 spaces filled. And I've got to be honest, I love this look. I'm so into this look. Like, I want to have this. I want to have 9 people on my show every time. Actually, 8 in the logo. So that shouldn't be too hard. That can be my goal, just for fun. 8 people in the logo. It's very, very compelling content. Like, it's very compelling content. We're learning something. We're having fun. We're meeting people. I don't have to have a shave. I don't have to get on a train. I don't have to go into a room where I don't know anyone and make it up. And I don't have to get stuck in a corner with someone trying to sell me something I don't want. We've all had those networking experiences in the city where we get stuck with that guy with 1,000 business cards in his pocket. Mate, I just started this business. I'm so excited. I'm a lawnmower. I'm a lawnmower man. Well, that's great. I've got a lawn, but I'm a long way away. Are you going to come down to see me? Yeah, I'll come down. But you've only got one lawn. I've got 1,000 cards. Hang on. I've got to get round to them. And we've all had those networking experiences. I'm not a big fan of networking in person, but I could do this every day for the rest of my life, several lifetimes to come. I'm so into this. So,
But Keith, because you actually do networking every time you get on
I
this
do.
show.
Look how we're doing it. We met Shireen today.
But that's how you do networking correctly, is you develop deep connections. And networking gets a bad rap because of people going out there spraying their cards, but that's not networking. That's throwing spaghetti against the wall. And let's be honest, you doing it correctly is developing relationships that last a lifetime. That's how you never eat alone. And you got to read that book, Never
I
Eat
have that
Alone.
book.
That's a wonderful.
I do. I've read that
It's a
book.
wonderful book.
Absolutely.
Actually, I audibled it, and it was like a 14-hour listen. That must be a huge book.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's a good book. It's definitely like Never Eat Alone is story. So, but 14 hours. Wow. I don't know if it took me that long, but yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I'll tell you this, that book, if you think you're a master networker, when you read that book, you will have learned a few things because it is amazing.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
I have
Absolutely.
to read that one.
Yeah, it's I believe he's gone on to make have his own cohorts now from that book. So he does probably these coaching programs. I've seen them advertised, and but that book is that good, you know.
You may be noticing that I'm sending everyone on the call, and please do something with these. I'm sending everyone on the call a screenshot of when they're speaking. Right. And I started with, A, and we're now up to R. So I don't know what number of the alphabet R is, but we're almost at like 20. What is it? It must be like about 20. What number of the alphabet is R? So I've done 20 screenshots today. We've been having so much fun. What I'd love to do is I'd love to challenge you to maybe do something with this. I mean, this show goes for such a long time. I would like to ask people what they do with their content to repurpose it. And let's start with Zakia. You love this idea, don't you? That it's a pity that we've been talking for 3 hours and this will just be one video in the corner of the internet. What do we do? What do we do to bring it out? Let's help each other bring out our content. What do you think?
I think the easiest method would probably be Notebook LM, only because none of my AI tools are going to allow me to upload a 3-hour video. They all cut off at about 2 hours, and I think you're probably going to go to 4. But Notebook LM, because it's been posted to
YouTube. Yes.
YouTube, so it'll pull that, and then you can get an audio, you can get a video, you can ask it questions. What were some of the key quotes from Keith or Bez or anyone that was on the stage, or what would be some follow-up conversations that could be held, and Notebook LM will spit that right out so you can have a podcast. And then it also allows you to join the conversation, right? So they'll do a whole podcast and you can say, I'd like to join and ask questions. And so it's pretty easy, low-hanging fruit with Notebook LM.
Yeah, let's pick up on this. So Google Notebook LM is probably the coolest site on the internet, separate to Restream and Substack and keithkeller.org. But what it does is it takes a YouTube video of 4 hours and takes it down to 20 minutes. It does it as an audio and as a video. And it's amazingly accurate. Like, it's amazing. It just takes all of the goodness out and puts it into a lovely little kooky video that's animated and with little slides. I think that's right. I think that is possibly our best bet. Does anyone else use Google Notebook? Tell us how you're using it if you do. Do you use it?
Well,
yeah.
I if you look on my
yeah.
Substack, I've used it the other way. So I've written articles that you save as a PDF, and then you upload. In fact, Keith, I did an article on one of our, which I didn't know about Notebook LM before you told me, and so I actually had written an article about sort of summarizing and telling basically what I thought we had covered, and then it created the podcast audio. And that was before they had the video. Now they've added the video aspect.
That is true. You can actually type in a PDF.
The
If you
video
want-
isn't quite there yet, but the audio is to Keith. What Keith was saying was it. Well, first of all, you can get you can do this in Substack too, but you can get a transcription of the audio, and then, like I said, then you can have that shortened into a podcast, and then of course you could feed that to your Substack or up to LinkedIn. And this is the key I keep on trying to pound home. Keith is trying to get there, but I want to pound it home is Substack has all these tools built in. I mean, it literally, like, it'll take a video of mine and do a clip, or it'll take the stream here and do clips of it. Then it can give you a transcript. Well, guess what you can do with that? You can plug that into a PDF and up it to Notebook LM and have a podcast. I mean, some of the permutations, combinations are endless on this. And I guess the only reason I'm saying all this is, how are we repurposing, and Americo and Keith and I have kind of gone round and rounds on this, and probably Bez too, is how can we repurpose our content to get it to wherever the audience, where we feel the audience is. And one of the things I've seen, there's one gentleman that is doing, or was kind of heavy on LinkedIn Live, but he wasn't really getting an audience. So he has since gotten onto Substack and had shorts produced, clips that he then loads up to YouTube. And he's building a YouTube audience so that when he does his lives, he's pushing it to, right now anyway, he's pushing it to LinkedIn and YouTube. But he's getting twice or three times the amount of people on YouTube as he is on LinkedIn. And part of the issue with that, and I don't want to trample on anyone's LinkedIn efforts.
Do you mean Substack or YouTube?
No, I said YouTube. So he's pushing. Oh,
Okay.
That's a good question. I don't think he has started to push to Substack yet. Because I think there's more eyeballs on LinkedIn. On the live stream on YouTube right now. But that's going to change too, because I really think people that were on LinkedIn or elsewhere are starting to migrate to them, and we don't know where we're being pushed to, or what the audience really is. And you can see that a lot easier on YouTube and Substack.
But what I think the deeper idea here is, why do all of this yourself? There is 9 people on the call. Surely we can help each other. Surely Jason has an audience. I don't have his audience. Surely if he wants to, he could do something. Why do all of the work yourself? Why not collectively say, look, we've had a show and it's been fun and I've sent you some screenshots. I know you're busy, but can you send that around? In a way, you sort of owe it to each other to do that. You sort of owe it to each other to help each other do this. I don't know if I'm treading on any toes, but I get a little bit annoyed when I do these shows and I'm just doing all the work. What do you think, America? You do these shows, America. Yeah, what do you think? Bez, you go.
No. I mean, I'm glad you said that, because you're setting an expectation you desire, and I think, now say, oh, okay, be happy to do that, right? But sometimes you just have to say it, right? Because what happens is, I think, Keith, when we leave here, we all have good intentions, and life gets in the way. And so what I've done in my career coaching thing is that I've noticed that. And so when we come back for the next session, they haven't done the work. And so it's really frustrating to take them to transformation, right? Mm-hmm. So my thing with you is, while you're now giving us these screenshots and they're showing up on my feed, I'm going to turn around and write something. And I might as well do it while I'm here, right? Because once I leave, I mean, I'm tired this is a workout just being on this show, right? So I'm not going to have that energy to write, an article. But while I'm here, I should. And thanks for reminding us and setting that expectation. I know it was subtle, but I picked it up. You should probably set that expectation at the top. Also mention it again in the middle. Mention it again at the end. And I think eventually we'll get the hint.
Look, the reason I picked this up is Americo and I talk about this almost every day. People like Americo has a totally different idea. He promotes a show. He promotes a person. He does his darndest to get people to the show. The people turn up and then they do nothing. They come up 10 minutes before. Hello, I'm here. I'm going to talk for half an hour. Bye-bye. And you never hear from them again. Right? It's not fair. Like, I mean, Americo's done all this work. He's promoted the show. He's doing his own time. And then they just go away. And Americo, does that piss you off as much as it does me? Or are you sort of a bit more patient than me?
Well, does it bother me? A little bit. But I found a way. And I'm going to say I found a solution. You don't get what you don't ask for. You're asking for it.
Right.
And I've built it into my my guest speech. When I get on the phone or when I get on a call with someone who I'm going to feature, so listen, this is my marketing funnel, right? I do live streams and help you with your on-demand content and events, right? I want you to stop overthinking of going live. But in order for you to be featured, here's what I'm going to need from you. I'm going to need you to promote. And at the end, I want you to look at this from a customer's lens and the customer journey. Did we build the right awareness? Did we get people to consider showing up? Did we get good engagement? What was your experience as a guest? And I need you to share that either in a recommendation, a post, somehow. That's your form of payment. You're going to reciprocate through sharing and repurposing this. And I've gotten people to, hey, that makes absolute sense. And we lost him. Oh, here he is. That makes absolute sense. I can do that for you. Now, I'm only going to ask once. I'm not going to, chase and harass people because I'm doing this willingly. It's part of building my brand in public and having samples and examples to share to people instead of sharing content that I've worked with others, which becomes proprietary to their brand. I don't want to be broadcasting that. Hey, jump in, visit my YouTube channel, visit any one of my events, and you'll see different variations. We got audio only, we got camera, but I need you to be part of the process. So I'm building it into my message. So did it bother me? At first it didn't. But then the more we talk about it, it's like, hey, how can I get some ROI from this other than rolling up my sleeves and doing all the work?
Yeah, and Kendra said this. I had a live today and my guest did a great job of getting the word out to her very engaged community. That's what we want. We want new people on the call. That's what juices us up.
That's right.
We meet new people. We get new conversations. It's constant and instant. So, Kendra, if you want to chat about that, I think Americo's already sent you the link. You can have a chat about that today. But I think you're right, Bez. I do need to set an intention. And my wife is a Capricorn, but also an introvert. And she says, I don't understand why I have to keep telling my boss how good I am. Surely he must know. I'm doing the job. Why doesn't he notice? Why doesn't he notice me, Keith? I'm doing a bloody good job. And these people that are half-assed about it, but they just rant and rave, they get all the attention. Really pisses her off. Really pisses her off.
I have an answer for that because there's nobody who's going to toot your horn except you.
Absolutely.
And here's one thing you have to do in the career coaching program I have one of my pillars is career management. And I know how performance appraisals work. You have to lock up leaders in a room and force them to do something they hate to do. And so when they deliver the performance review, they're remembering the last thing, right? And it could have been somebody in the company complaining about you, and maybe the whole year you were a phenomenal employee, but they're remembering the last thing, right? And then they have to remember all these things and try to write something, and so many times they give it to you, say, can you fill it out for me, right? And now you have to fill that out, and that's never good, right? And so now the best thing you can do is take ownership of that process, and don't wait for the year end where you walk in and you're as anxious as the hiring managers. Believe me, hiring managers are also anxious because they don't want to offend you, right? And you're anxious hoping you get a good review. It's a really bad meeting because there's a bunch of surprises, and nobody likes surprises. Now, the best hiring managers I have witnessed, it's not a surprise. In fact, they track performance on a month-to-month basis with their employees. And when it comes to the end of the year, they've been tracking it at 12 intervals. It's not a surprise. So what I've turned that and flipped it on its head is like, you take ownership. You set up the monthly calls with your manager, going over your performance, tracking to expectations, right? And then sharing your needs as well, right? Because it's a two-way street. And there's a reason why you're there. So have your checklist that you check off, because once you're finished with that, there's no more growing in the position. So get ready to move on out, or see if you can, transfer somewhere else within the company or get a promotion, right? You're there for a purpose, not to. And so you're tracking your performance. You get to the end of the year. You've made it really easy for your hiring manager, because they have all the data. You've been tracking it for 12 months, and it's there for them. Make it easy for them.
You are so right.
Help them.
No one does
help
it.
you.
Mate. No one does it.
Well, that's because they're not taking ownership of their career. And there's two methods, Keith. You can either let your career manage you, or you can manage your career.
Let's play this out, and Shireen, you'll be a very good source for this. How can the average entrepreneur do this as well? I mean, we don't really want to be tooting our own horn all the time, because that actually is pretty annoying, especially for our Aussies. We hate show-offs. We hate show-offs. We just hate them. So
right. So if you're direct, that's right. But you have to do it subtly. You actually have to do it. And I believe that that's a skill set that you develop. So I've been listening to everyone about, like, how do you repurpose this? So the first thing I would say for you, Keith, so again, I saw this on Bez. Something showed up in my notification from Bez that this was live. So I decided, let me click into this. I don't know if there was, for this, even on LinkedIn, if there was a description. And let me share you. So a description of this talk, right? Like when you do a actual LinkedIn Live, it tells you what you put in the description and all the information.
Yeah.
Let me tell you why this would be beneficial, because I am not trying to do a whole lot of work, but I would like to repurpose it, right? If there was a description of what this event was about, what you might talk about, I would simply copy that description, put that puppy into ChatGPT, write out a summary, a compliment, or some kind of using my voice so that I could use it as a post on this. I would take a screenshot, which I have done already, of everybody that was on this call, right? So I just have a picture of all the papers. So I was like, hey, I could say after my assistant spits out a post of something, wow, okay, hey, I just met these amazing people on this call or on this live. It was, fascinating. This is where you put your rhythm. I say you have to find your rhythm with the AI. I would put my rhythm, my style of voice into the post, put it out there, and then I'm done. That's the first thing I would do. And that's how I navigate my repurposing, how I navigate my ChatGPT, and not to make it so that I don't know what to write or whatever.
Let's
That would be
let's
my
pick up on this, and I'll connect. We're not connected. I was going to send you something. So, what I've done, if you go to my LinkedIn page, it tells you exactly what we're talking about today. What we're talking about is using Substack as a creative hub, right? And I gave you a bit of a definition of what that really means. What does it mean? So, using Substack as a creative hub is 1, multi-format publishing; 2, direct audience connection; 3, community tools. Now, there's the essence of what we chatted about. It took us 4 hours to get round to it, but everyone gets a turn. So I love what you just
Wonderful.
said there. That
So this is what you need to do right now, though. You need to drop the link to that page so that people don't into the comments, so people don't have to hunt and peck to try to find that. That's
Yeah.
how you make it easy for people.
Yeah.
So that's what I would do. The other thing that you could do is if you want somebody to write something specific to repurpose, give them the content and then let them now, hey, take this content and put it through your chat GPT and write something using my style and flavor to say, hey, I really like this. I'm great people. And then you sort of have a single voice. If here are some images you could use. This is the thing when people are doing online, you're inviting a guest someplace, you want them to participate, you don't want them trying to make stuff up. Okay, give them what they should be talking about. Here are the topics you could talk about. Here's some content that you could write and make it your own. Right here are some images you can use. You don't want people just making stuff up. Guide them in what they should be putting out there. Right here, make it simple, because people they don't have the time to think about what they should do. This is probably why people don't go and say, oh, you should promote this, and they like, I don't have time. What you want me to say? That means they have to interrupt what they're doing to
Love it.
try to figure out what you might want, and that's too much heavy lifting. So you have to make it easy for people, and
Oh,
when you
love it.
make it easy, they'll do it.
And what you've done there is you've given, this is available on LinkedIn and Substack, but you've taken it one step further. What I'll do for the people that have come on the call is I will create a document for you, and you can just cut and paste, because you're right, we have different voices. Like I talk in a particular way. This is what Substack will talk about, and so I'm going to send that.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the other thing, and again, I'm giving you guys, I'm just going to rattle out some things you could do. So you have access to the recording. I don't know what kind of transcription software you use. I love Otter AI. That is what I use, right? So my thought,
Me too.
love it, right? Is that Bez? I have
Yeah.
Otter AI in the house, right? So here's what you do.
6,000 minutes a month.
I'm telling you, I hope they don't change that, right? Because they tried that funny stuff once. I was like, look now. Anyway, so you take that, you upload it. Here's what you do. You upload it to Otter, let it transcribe the entire transcript. I think you only have 4 hours. So you just kind of got to be aware where your cutoff is. But upload that. Now they have an AI integration, which I love. So once the transcript is done, now I'm giving you gold, because this is what I teach my clients. Once that transcript is done, now you ask the AI, give me the top talking points, or give me what the highlights were from this conversation, right? Find a nugget. And now you have, not that you want to create a document, do not create heavy lifting for people. Give them 3, no more than 5 things. Hey, can you just write a repost about this? These are some things that came out of the conversation. You're not trying to do the heavy lifting here. You're trying to leverage the power of your technology and the power of AI to help you get things moving quickly. And when you want to engage other people, they need to have sound bites, little pieces that they can then say, hey, you can even give them the chat GPT prompt. Here, put this prompt in. Write a post
No,
about this.
you've actually mentioned quite a lot of good points here, but I'm possibly expecting too much of people.
Absolutely. It's got to work.
Yeah. They've come on the call, and maybe they think that's enough. I'd be very interested in your thoughts here, Americo, because you interview a lot of guests, and you're lucky if they even turn up.
Yeah, we've had a couple of no-shows, but show must go on.
Yes.
Here's what I'm suggesting, and I love what Shireen is sharing. We have through Restream, we have the ability to save, upload the transcription in a text file, which isn't that large of a file. You can send it to everyone or whoever asks for it. Like I will ask you, send over the transcript, and you know I love testing how different types of content work in React. Send it over, and I will repurpose it. The prompts, Otter AI. It's incumbent upon us to lean in and leverage the tools we have. Now, in terms of time, absolutely. Are we nodding our heads and saying yes? I'd love to help you out, Keith. And then does life get in the way, as Bez pointed out? Absolutely. And we quickly drop down and on that list of priorities. So if you make it easy, and doesn't have to be cumbersome, I usually front load it when I remember. I ask those who are attending as people are coming in to the live, hey, if you're sticking around, I'd love that you would repost, reshare, let your community know where you're at right now, and that gets that instant repost for those who are willing to do it at that particular time. Then at the end, if you learned anything, or you think that this content and this conversation is valuable and you wanted to share with someone, I would love for you to share along with some takeaways. And you kind of sandwich that in at the front and at the end, and hope for the best, right?
Yeah, this is good. This
1%.
is very, very good. This is good.
Keith.
I think I've been probably a little bit harsh on people. We're busy, and turning up is a gift to me. I saw this very, very, very cool post by Ozzy Osbourne, who said, "Even now, I still know that my audience is the point. I am not the star. They are doing me a favor by turning up. You are all doing me a massive favor by being here at all. That's a gift to me. I've got no right to be angry when people don't repurpose it, because you are here. You're doing me a massive favor." I guess I'm a bit greedy.
No, be greedy, Keith, but I just found something out tonight. If I send this to LinkedIn, so I do add channel, and I could have sworn I couldn't add a channel while it was going, but apparently you can. And if you go to connect event, you can actually put in a description. I wasn't aware of this, so that when I restreamed your last show, it just said social audio tech check, but I can put a description in there. And if you tell us in advance kind of what your show flow is, we can put that in the description.
Well, I love this.
But that's only for LinkedIn. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like you can do that in Substack. And I have to look at the other thing is if you're going to stream to YouTube, you have to set it all up in advance, and it takes like 72 hours or something to do it. But if you tell us like what to in advance, then we could potentially even have a little cooperative and say, okay, if America's on, he's going to restream to YouTube and Facebook. If Mike's on, he's going to restream to LinkedIn and Substack.
Yes.
And so that way, or just wherever we have the biggest audience. So if which I don't know where America's biggest audience is, but if it's LinkedIn right now, then he could say, well, okay, my biggest audience is on LinkedIn. Give me the description, and I'll post that in my restream stream. And because I wasn't even aware of this, and I actually got on your stream from Bezos.
Yeah. Well, as you may know, you may not know, but I'm having October off, and the big question I am actually asking myself this question: am I just doing this show because I have nothing else to do? Like, I've actually asked that question because I'm doing so many shows. I'm thinking, surely there must be other things to do, but I just can't think of anything else I'd rather do. Like, there's nothing else I would rather do than this. And that's my answer. I could do anything. And then
You
spontaneously at 9 at night, I'm getting these amazing ideas for shows. Like, I mean, I'm not getting amazing ideas about going into the city and meeting people. I'm not getting amazing ideas about walking on the beach and talking to people while they're drinking their lattes. I'm getting amazing ideas about having shows on the internet. So I apologize for them being very spontaneous in this month. But at Repurpose 3030, which starts in November, we are setting an intention as a community to take all of the content that we've created in 2025 so far and create 30 pieces of content in 30 days. Right? It's not a challenge. It's not homework. Just do what you can. And this research that I'm doing is going to form the foundation for that show. That's why I'm doing it. I'm doing this show, Restream 3030. So what I'd love for you to do whenever you have the time is I would love to know how you repurpose your shows, your content, your conversations. And I will work that into my flow and do something with it. So I love online shows. Some people like in-person events. Some people like to write blogs. Some people like to do podcasts. Some people like to sit at the beach and watch the dolphins, not the Miami Dolphins. What do you think, Bez? What do you like to do?
Okay, so and then before I answer that question, I just put into relevant to the topic, about you doing this show and hey, how can you motivate other people to amplify your show? Okay, so there's a podcast called Grow the Show. His real name is Michael Schmidlin, but I guess he's renaming himself to Kev Michael. But anyways, he has a podcast, 15-minute podcast on exactly, what your thoughts are in your head, and he hit the topic, or the title is podcast guest won't grow your audience unless. And it's a 15-minute show, and what they discuss is why guest interviews don't help you grow, why guests rarely promote your episodes, signs of amateur podcasting, when you should bring guests onto your show, 3 ways to leverage guests for growth. And he says, I remember listening to this podcast, and I remember when he said that, like, the bigger the podcaster is and the more following, the less they do for you. Sometimes it's the normal, smaller people that are more excited to promote your, they're going on Keith's show, and man, I'm a little fish in his big pond, and they're gonna do everything to help you grow your show because it helps them grow. So but it does talk about that, and so it does talk about what you can do, and you might find that podcast very enlightening, and maybe use that into your flow. I love what Shireen shared, and you were saying about doing a Google Doc or something. Like Shireen said, hey, don't give them some stuff that they can share, and it's what they call low overhead for them, and it's so easy. You make it so easy. It's like, all they have to do is push the button, right? Might be something to look into and test. So anyways, to your original question, what was it?
I think the thing is that I would like to challenge us all on all of our shows to find these 30 pieces of content. I want to share this story. I'm very excited. I'm very proud of this story. So I was interviewed on a Thursday night in the afternoon, night. Wifey was at yoga. And the show went for 30 minutes in Manchester, UK. Right? It was a great interview, 30 minutes. The host, put that show on her Spotify account. Right? Now, most people would go, good, that's it, that's done. Next, what I did is I asked her, I'm very proud of this, I asked her for the audio. Right? So I put the audio on SoundCloud. So that's 2 pieces of content. But the interview went for 30 minutes. So I spent a couple of hours pulling out 6 pieces of content from that 30-minute interview. So that's 1 piece of content, 2 places, 6 additional pieces of content. Each of those pieces of content became a blog post on Substack. And so it just builds and builds and builds. And at the end of the day, and within 2 days, I had 10 pieces of content from one 30-minute show. And it was so easy for me. I don't understand why people aren't doing it. But I guess it makes sense to me. Right. So what
how long did it take you to do those 10 pieces of content?
A morning, maybe.
So let's say 4 hours or 8 hours?
Yeah, probably 4 hours.
Okay. So the average person isn't going to have 4 hours.
No, that's right. They wouldn't.
Just, yeah.
And that's
They
what I'm
wouldn't.
saying. But I was a guest on her show. Right? It wasn't like she was a guest on my show. I would have done much more for her. But what I'm saying is this is what my show's going to be about in November. Let's pick. There's the dogs. Let's pick 10 ways that we can each repurpose our stuff. Right? Because we do stuff and it goes away. Right? And to your point, I've got to make this into a system and then let other people go. Okay, you can put it to SoundCloud. You can do a Google Notebook. You can put it on Otter. You can put it on a Substack. You can put it on your WordPress blog. I'm putting words in your mouth. I'm not teaching you to suck eggs, but I'm giving you some ideas. Surely you can do at least one of those. Right? Oh, I'm busy, Keith. I'm so busy. Coming on your show was a treat. Okay, well, then maybe that's all I get. But I can tell you for sure in 2026, I'm scouring the internet. I'm going on like hundreds of shows. And I'm going to be doing this for these people. So if you have a podcast or you know anyone that has a podcast, I'm putting my hand up. I want to go on shows all over the world. 12 shows in 12 months. That's my goal next year. I've had 4 this year, but I want 12. And it's so easy for me that, I keep saying, I don't understand why you don't understand. But maybe I've got a different life. Maybe I'm not as busy as her.
Well, you're retired, right? And you have disposable time. Like a lot of people who have their own business, probably work more than someone who works the 9 to 5, right? And so time is precious, right? And so, like you said, just make it so simple that they just have to cut and paste and push the button, like Shireen said. And you know what? And just you here, I know you've talked about it, but I sort of felt your pain. So I was like, all right, let's stop a second. All right, Keith. Okay, great. I'm gonna right now while we're on here. I hear an expectation. Okay, so now let's just make sure that you communicate that at the beginning, middle, and end. And we should hear. I agree with you. We should be doing something to amplify your show. We're here on your show, and thank you. So thanks for reminding me too, because sometimes we're just hanging out here having fun, and we don't realize that there is something else you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah,
And
coming to the show is the point. You are doing me a fantastic favor that I can never repay. Just coming, but given that I'm taking October off, I'm spending every moment of my day in October doing 2 things. One is trying to work out why I keep dropping out. I think it's the modem. I've got to get another gadget now. But that's the first thing I've been trying to work out. Why do I keep dropping out? But the second thing is I want to know how I can take a 4-hour show and turn it into 10 pieces of content. I've still got to get my head around that. I still don't know. So I want us as a community to work this out.
Won't Substack make the clips for you?
They do. They make 4 clips for you. That's right. That's part of the deal. That's one of the reasons I'm using Substack, because it makes these unbelievable clips for us.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question, Keith? Can I?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, so your shows rival the length of Joe Rogan. Okay, they're long. Okay. Have you thought about, because you have the ability to, you do these breaks, right? You used to do them periodically and sort of like at certain points, right? Which for you, which is actually when you're editing, it is probably easy, right? Because you know when this little break comes in, right? Have you maybe thought about, if you're going to have a 4-hour show, that the theme for the first hour, like sort of do it like chapters, right? And then that way, when your listener comes in and you chop like a 3 or 4 hour show, you chop it up in 3 or 4 pieces, right? But chapter one, first hour, is talking. It's a theme. Now it doesn't have to be perfect,
No,
right?
this is
Because
good. This is actually very good. Because
we're all
what
over
you're
the
talking
place.
about is
But
this. I've got this little piece of
Mhm.
music, which goes for
Yeah.
7 seconds. So I could say something like, let me just see if I can find that music.
The theme for the next hour is going to be, and then that way they're sort of cut up into chapters. And so for your 4-hour show is like almost like a month worth of podcast you release once a week. But maybe now you release an hour on X date, and it's almost like on a 4-hour show you could release a show, a 1-hour segment every day of the week.
I could. I have to consider it. So I could do something like this. Hey, you're listening to KKFM and it's part 2. In this section, we're going to talk about ... That would be very easy for me to do. That'd be extremely easy for me to do.
Because here's the thing. If the only people are going to listen to this 4 hours, us here who are having fun, it's like Hollywood Squares, right? And we're cutting it up and we're talking about this, and whatever. But for your listener, and for us who are helping you promote, like some of us are going to resonate with one theme more than the other theme over the 4 hours, right? But at least you're getting one piece of content from us that we'll go deep on, right? That's all you want. For your listener, they can decide they're not going to, unless, maybe you become the Joe Rogan, but not many people listen to, like Joe Rogan is an anomaly, right? But you chopping it up into 4 pieces gives someone a reason to listen to chapter 1, chapter 2, maybe not chapter 3, but maybe chapter 4, right? Because it's stuff that interests them. And it just gives them a break.
It's very
because,
interesting to me that
know?
most people assume that I give a shit about the replays. I don't. I don't give a shit about the replays. I want you to come today and talk today. And when this show's finished, it's finished. I don't even check the replays. I don't care.
Well, people might do that. The thing is, you want to consider too is that do people, and so it's interesting, do people have the time? Will they take the time to listen to a 4-hour show? That, like, for me, this is an anomaly, right? I was like, okay, but so to sit on a show or on something for 4 hours, I don't know how often you do this, but when I think about it, like when I think about just Zakia, the topic, is it off topic or is it still on topic? I didn't intend to come and disrupt the topic that was being discussed, and I think that that's something you just want to be aware of, that people are jumping on the show for the topic, not for a tangent, and 4 hours is a long time. And to Bez's point, maybe they may not be able to listen and for the whole time, but maybe if there was a replay, if it was chopped up very specific because you have a structure of how the show is and they can follow it, that may be of value, because the goal is on any piece of content, any piece of content, that people should come away with some kind of value, with at least one gold nugget out of that. But they don't want to be digging through the content trying to
No, I
figure
agree.
out before
Can I ask a question?
to it.
Let's ask this question. Would you watch, would you replay a game of sport?
No. You mean a live sport event like a football
Would
game?
you restream? Would you rewatch a live football game the next day?
No, because I already know the score.
Because you
What's
know
the
the
point?
score. But more importantly, and equally as importantly, the thrill of the sport is in watching it evolve. Who's going to win?
Right.
Who's going to win? What is that kick? Did they do it?
But that's different from online, though. That is different from online.
Is it different?
And so yeah, because people, when you
Yes.
think about online, most people, and why do they watch YouTube more than anything else? They are looking for information. That's why they Google, they're looking for information. That's why they listen to a podcast, unless it's like that you already know the genre or theme of the podcast. But most people are looking for information. And so you have to know your audience and what it is that they're looking for. Now, here's a perfect thing to talk about repurposing content. If this was really important, right? A poll. Let me do a poll for people on, do you use Substack or WordPress, right? So you can get information to figure out where your next positioning needs to be. You want to take 30 pieces of content and get people to write 10, repurpose that content 10 different ways. Well, some people might be like, well, is that valid? Do people want to do that? Well, how many ways would you want to take a piece of content? Would you want it at 10? Some people are like, no, I don't even post 5 days a week. Why would I want 10 pieces of content? I only post 3
Shireen,
days a week.
Shireen,
Uh-huh.
there's one thing that Keith
Yes.
does well is he does polls. He does polls all the time.
Oh, he does polls. Okay.
Yes.
See, that's awesome.
So
He does.
I've just done a poll. What site? This is a very, very important poll for me. What site do you use for your blog post now? Right? Because most people are asking me, what is Substack, Keith? I've never heard of it. All right. So do you have a blog post already? Do you use Substack, Medium, WordPress, and the fourth one with 38%? I just use LinkedIn. I just use LinkedIn for everything and everybody. Right? But
and that says something big,
doesn't it?
Right? It does. So why? And so unfortunately, is Mike still on, or did Mike jump off? Right? And this is
He
something
jumped
to
off.
really pay attention to. And this is why I share with my clients, my leads, and my prospect all the time. I understand that there's an Instagram out there. I understand there is Facebook, now Substack, there is SoundCloud. But I guarantee you, when you meet somebody, they're not going to say connect with me on Facebook. They're going to say connect with me on LinkedIn. They're not going to say connect with me on Instagram because what? No. They say connect with me on LinkedIn. Powerful. That people say all the time.
Look,
you need to have a LinkedIn
does anyone listen
presence.
to the radio in their car? And if they do, would you listen to a recording of this morning's breakfast show?
If it was good enough, yes. If it was good enough, yes. Let's just say if I was driving and I listened to it and I missed something, absolutely. I hope they have a replay of that, because I need to find that nugget that I missed that they said that I knew it was good. So
my show is like the breakfast show. My show is like the breakfast show in your car on the way to work.
Okay, then make it good. Then make it good. And the reason why, what I'm saying for that, see, so when I think about what you're saying, Keith, and it's so powerful that I hope people are hearing this. See, you have a vision of how you want this show to go, which is awesome. But now you have to line it up for it to be in alignment with the people who is going to be listening to Keith and his show. Meaning you don't want to be all over the place because they're looking for something. What is Keith coming with today? that's going to be helpful and useful for me to solve a problem in my business. Either you're educating somebody, you're entertaining somebody. What is the other? I call it the IEEE, inspiring, educating, entertaining, and I forgot the last C, engaging maybe. Who knows? But
Well,
when you think about that, how do you want your
yeah, I like Keith, because I've hung around with you a little bit. I'm you said what you said. You don't give a shit if if someone listens to the replay, but you would if someone from Walmart listened to you and said, "Hey, Keith, I'm going to send you a Shure microphone,"
Yeah.
right? So I think it would behoove you to say, like you're asking yourself, why am I doing this show?
Mhm.
Right? And for me, I think you're doing this show because you have a method to your madness. You reach out to 100 people per week. You're very targeted in who you reach. You have reached, how many people in Walmart have you connected with?
My current score is 632.
Wow.
Nice.
Okay, so you want a brand deal from them. Now your reward is them sending you equipment, not money, and I'm sure that can be arranged. But so you do care, right? Because if that person, like what Shireen was saying, is depending the format of your show. This is something you have to decide what is going to be the format. It could be the morning show, right? Or it could be something where a brand manager could listen to a segment and say, "That's it. I need to give Keith some equipment so he can highlight Walmart," right? It depends what is that goal of yours. The morning show, or I'm trying to be. There's a reason because I want some brand deals and I want to test equipment. Whatever it is, just I think I know what you want, but then you're constantly changing because you test so much, and you're the tinkerer, right? And you tinker for all of us, right? Am I right?
No,
or wrong?
that is my job. Like, my goal, just to let you know, I've got 2 goals for next year. One is, and thank you, Kendra, for mentioning this, I want to go on other people's shows. I want 12 shows in 12 months. I've set the intention. I've told the universe. Right? And for that show, I will create magic for them and subsequent concepts. But, people have to know who I am. For my show, this is the truth. For my show, I want the Brady Bunch moment. I honestly don't care who's listening in the audience, and I don't know. I don't care about that, and I'm sorry about that. I want you to come on stage and talk to me. And if you can't come on stage, I want you to make a comment. And if you're a silent listener, what we call a lurker, well, I can't help you.
Yep.
Because how can I know who you are if you don't tell me? Right? And some people say, well, you never know who you never know. Well, I want to know. I want you to be on stage or in the comments. And if you're not in the stage and in the comments, I can't help you. I can't help you. So my shows go as long as they are inspiring. We've been going 4 hours and we're loving it. But eventually my belly says, hey, Keith, I think you might need to eat now.
Yeah.
And maybe these dropouts of this, the universe's way of saying, do you want to have a breath? I think you might need to go home. I think you need to stop. Might be the universe's way of saying, mate, this is enough. But my goals are very specific. I don't want this to have 1,000 replays. I don't check that number. I want 9 people on stage now, today. The dopamine hits today. And if people get value, that's good. That's a good secondary benefit, but that's not how I get my dopamine. Right? I'm retired. I paid off the house.
So you truly want the morning show, like exactly what you said.
I just want to do this radio show in the morning that people listen to on the way to work. And they drop it.
Yeah.
Minutes on the train, and then they come back and they go, look, he's still going. Like, that's amazing. He's still going. I was on the way home.
And
like people who used to listen to Howard Stern, or whatever.
He's a bit of a dude. Yeah, I get Howard Stern for sure.
Okay.
Absolutely. And you could do that. And I thought Lynn, I don't want to go over, so if you wanted to add into it, I'd love to hear what you were going to share before I say what I was going to say.
Oh, I really don't know what I was going to say. Honestly, Shireen, I was about to bow out and get my toothbrush ready.
I hear you. I know I'm gonna have to bow because I have to get up in the morning as
I
well.
heard someone,
But you know,
yesterday say, I took out a coaching program on credit. I want to say this specifically. And all he said was, follow your dreams. Everyone thinks they know what I want.
right.
Everyone thinks they know what I should be doing because that's what they would do in my position. I know exactly what I want. I was a radio announcer when I was 16 and I love doing these shows. And it's good that people watch it, but I can't chase those numbers down the line because they depress me. I get I guess there must be such a thing called anti-dopamine. Someone actually said this to me the other day, mate. I think you're chasing the numbers too hard, and it probably affects you mentally. I love doing these shows and I love talking to people, and that's it. That's what I want. So I want people to come to the show today and talk to me today. And if they can't make it on stage or they're too embarrassed to talk, they can make a comment. And then the show is finished. And then tomorrow's show is a new show. No one listens to the morning show 3 days later. You're listening to the morning show because you're in the car and you're on the way to work and it's an hour drive. And you can either listen to Spotify or listen to the radio. Some people listen to the radio. And then you get in the car and you drive home. And you're in the car driving and you listen to the radio while you're driving. And then you stop. You don't listen to the replay on a Saturday afternoon while you're mowing the lawn. You know, that's a different proposition. So I'm very clear on what I want. And I think we're doing it. We got the Brady Bunch moment this week. That's never happened before. But I think what we've learnt today, and I need to let people know, here's what we talked about. If you've got time, could you please write a little post about that? Put the word out. Get the word out.
Reframe it. Not if you. Can you take 5 minutes and use this as a blurb to write a post about it?
Yeah.
Give them direction. Ask for permission. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People into the habit of this, right? Here's a little blurb. It's like when we look for testimonials, people don't know how to give a testimony. Well, here's a copy of something.
Yeah, just write this out. Bez has a really cool, I don't know if I've told you this, and Bez needs to get some flowers for this, but Bez has a very cool strategy for his coaching calls. He knows for sure when people hang up the phone, the life gets in the way. So what he does is he front loads the coaching call to do the work inside of it. Tell us about how you do that, mate. You set up the call for 15 minutes and then 45 minutes is work, isn't it?
Yeah, it was. So some of you may know that, and I'm ashamed to say it, but I say it, is I started my online journey in 2016, and in November of 2024, I made my first online dollar. Okay. Now I recently met, so I admitted that someone the other day told me, well, it took me 13 years. So I'm not the worst one out there, but I did everything, courses, coach, the whole 9 yards. And finally, after investing in myself on a significant program, they wanted me to re-up and I didn't. I needed time to implement. And during that process, someone came to me and says, you're going to be my career coach. That's November of 2024. That's how I got started. Someone forced me to be their coach. Right? And now I have a small cohort. I really haven't launched. Everything's word of mouth referral, but I've learned a lot in the process. And that is, I can fire hose you to death, right? I've got so much goodness in me built up over 30 years that in one swipe, I could knock you off the planet. But that is overwhelming, right? so what I've come to realize that I should spend an hour with people in a group, and I come back next week, or even let's say at the end of the week to do a follow-up, a Q&A, and they haven't implemented what we talked about, and with a Google Doc and all, right? I mean, they walk away with a tangible thing every time they meet with me. So I went to them and I said, look, because that doesn't fill my cup. So my cup is filled when they get transformation, but you have to do the work, right? I'll help you. I'll do it with you, help you, but I need you to do it. Because I want you, anyways. So what I did is I went to them and I said, look, I think I'm going to switch it up a little bit. I'm going to do micro learnings and heavy implementation. 15 minutes, instructional. I'll bite size it down, and we'll focus on working to implement it together while we're together. And then that way you can do the rest of it and act upon it and push the buttons to do something you've already implemented. So basically it's giving them the win within the time we're together. And to me, the win is they did the work, and now so they feel accomplished walking out. So I get it. And I mean, one of the things about careers and whatnot is that, you have to time block, you have to dedicate and be committed. But what happens is people don't schedule what they're going to do. They have all the best intentions, but life gets in the way because they haven't structured or scheduled what they need to get done. So you're going to get it done while you're with me. And hopefully that inspires you to, because I do talk about time blocking and committing, the accountability part. So anyways, get them a quick win and we move on.
Here, mate. I just love that wisdom, because Lachelle, who comes to the show a lot, she says, the reason I come to your show is that while we're talking, I'm doing it. Because I know because she's got 15 kids. As soon as I go off the call, I've got one of my kids in my ear. I'm hungry. I need washing done. I've got to, can you do this for me? So while she's on the call, she's on the call and she's doing things, the thing. She's doing the thing. So the idea, and I might even start implementing this idea that the first 15 minutes is a bit of a setup. And then the next sort of time period is, well, let's implement what we just talked about. Let's talk about implementing, not just talking. Let's do it. Like if you go back right to the start, the first bit of the show was about Googling ourselves to see whether or our collective sites come up. And we found that Substack doesn't come up. SoundCloud comes up, WordPress comes up, LinkedIn comes up, but Substack doesn't have any SEO. That's important to know. So we implemented the story there and then. And I think that's a good lesson, Bez, that what you're doing there is implementing within, because as a coach, it must be very debilitating to come back a week later and realize that no one's done their homework. And then that must really annoy you. What do you think?
Yeah, it does. It's interesting because I've got two types of cohorts. I've got the one that are in the 1 year program, that's an investment, and the one that are in the monthly membership Netflix subscription model one. And they both act differently. The ones that are in the 1 year program, they're on it, right? The ones on the subscription model, that's a little bit more challenging, right? So I've got still, at the end of the day, I love them to death. I want them to win, whether you're in my VIP or my group coaching program, it doesn't matter, right? They're all my little chickies, right? So
as a coach, look, I don't know what everyone else feels, but a mate of mine who's a guitar teacher, I asked him, what does it feel like when you give someone a lesson and they never do it? He says, oh, look, it does piss me off. But this one drum, this is a true story. This one, he teaches drums as well. This one drummer said to him, he's been going to him every Monday for like 10 years. He said, I'm happy to keep coming every Monday because that's the only time I practice when I'm here. I said, well, yeah, how does that feel? You know, you sit, the person hasn't done any practice at all for a week. He comes every week, gives you $50, and then he just plays drums for half an hour. I mean, how does that feel? He says, well, that works for him, and I acknowledge that. And he does get better over time at a very, very, very slow pace. But he enjoys it, and I'm just sitting there watching him. So I guess that's not a wasted time. But I chatted to him at one of his Christmas parties, and I said, well, how are you doing? He says, oh, I never get a chance to practice. I just come once a week on a Monday, 7 p.m. I play drums on his kit for half an hour, and then I go home. And I said, well, how are you going? He says, oh, well, it's slow. I mean, how can you get any good practice in half an hour once a week? But he loves it, and it's his only time he gets.
Did we lose Keith? Well, I just want to say that on, Shireen, you've probably been coaching a long time, and I've been giving advice to leaders for a long time, but not in as a coach capacity, right? And it's been really, I've been really enjoying the learnings that I've been able to. I learn a lot from the people in my program, right? In fact, I always tell them, test my hypothesis and prove me wrong. I learn from you guys too. If something's not working, I want to know.
Yes.
Because things ebb and flow. And so I honor that. I was like, look, and somebody once came to me and told me something that I was like, oh, because I asked them to go test it. And this was before I launched, and because it was when I was doing stuff for free. And they came back and said, hey, this is what happened. I'm like, wow, that's good. That's good feedback. Because you know what? They had a speaker at our 1 Million Cups last week, and he certifies other coaches to do life coaching. He's an ICF certified, and that's something I want to get done one day. And he said the only way to get better at coaching is to coach. Get out there. You don't get better at coaching by learning all the theory and all the how-tos without ever doing it. And I was like, you know what? That's exactly what I've been doing. It's been messy. But you know what? I've been learning a lot, right?
That's good.
Anyways.
But I think I think it's for everybody. Right now, we are in a culture where we think we just look at a YouTube, do something and never test it, never try it, and we're supposed to be an expert. I was like, I tell clients, everything is hypothetical until you do it. That you might have is hypothetical until you actually execute and you see for yourself what happens. But people have been conditioned that if you don't get it right the first time out the gate, like a bird that goes plop on the ground, never flew before, that you're a failure. And you're not. You never fail. You only learn. You never get good unless you work it. And most people are afraid to work it. I mean, I remember one client, but it's a lesson learned, right? Because what people do, what we learn about ourselves, about if something is right. I had a client that went through one of my private programs, invested significant money to get her business up and running. And then towards the end, first of all, I told her, I said, you're going to get confronted with who you are in this process. You're going to start to see your character in this process to see if you really want to run and own a business or not. And when she started doing it, I can tell the first time when she got fronted because she took a 2-week trip to Europe. I was like, in the middle of the program, are you kidding me? What are you doing? How do you do that? Why are you doing that? Right? Because she was so afraid of what she had to do, the work she had to do. Yes, running a business does take work. Creating a business does take work. Do the work, run the play, right? But at the end
Well,
of it, I think she was like, I don't want to do this. Well, that is the best investment you have ever made. To invest, to realize that you are not meant for this. Imagine if you kept going and going and going and realizing you would be miserable. If you would have all these issues, it is important for you to put a stake in the ground and to test this thing. Am I willing to do it? And she was like, oh, I can't do it. Well, then it is okay for you to go and get a job, because business is not for you. And you found that out. Great that you did it now instead of later.
It's a
But
good
most
story.
people,
Yeah,
they don't want to do that. Go ahead, Keith. Sorry.
no,
Yeah.
I love this story. I mean, the idea of walking into a room and thinking, you know what, I'm just going to hang out here, and I get a feeling in my belly this is not right for me, but I'm too embarrassed to leave. Fail fast, fail first, and then just accept it.
Right. Get it over with, right? Just go like, no. And then the biggest thing is be honest. Most people don't want to be honest because what? You're afraid of what people are going to say or what people are going to think. You better watch. I had to tell one client, I was like, okay, the chocolate vanilla, choose. Are you going to choose being stressed out every day? Or are you going to choose creating a life for your family and so forth that you love? You have to make a choice, make a decision. And those are the things, those are the hard things. Even when it comes to coaching, when I think about, do I believe everybody needs a coach? Yes. But what kind of coach? Do you need a coach that you can run ideas with and a sounding board to help be a voice for you to figure this out? Or do you need the coach? This is what I share with my client. See, I am the coach to get that Super Bowl ring that you want. The Super Bowl ring. Now, what you will notice in the Super Bowl game is you don't see the coach on the field running down the plays with the player. You either play to run, either you run it or you don't. It's really like ones and zeros, right? You do or you don't. You want the results, do the work.
I want to
Yes, go
highlight
ahead, Bill.
Lynn here. Lynn ran the play. She's a franchise owner.
Mhm.
She took the
Yes,
step, right?
I
Talk to
did.
us
I
about that.
did. Yeah, I sure did, and well, it was kind of born out of a bit of desperation. The process that's and I really, when I first started, I didn't give too much in the way of myself and my why and how I really didn't talk a lot about it. But my husband's layoff, that was the start. And so it just forced me into, well, us, into making some changes. Um, and one of them was how to not be laid off, and anymore, and just be a kind of a prisoner to, when you work in the corporate world. I mean, it's going to happen every 10 years or so. Seems to be kind of the normal cut.
It's
And so,
interesting.
yeah, as we were planning, and anyway, was to do some traveling, and that was one of the things we were going to do as a couple. And ironically, I did come across an article about the franchise, which really I didn't really know, honestly, a whole lot about. I did some research. It turns out they're much larger than I realized, because they, were connected to, I don't know if you know, World Travel Holdings and all of that. So pretty big. I think the Dream Vacation side of it, 35 years ago, I think, is when they, round about that time, when they brought out that brand. But Um, I have for the most part, and I have been kind of a jack of all trades of real estate, and I've been the stay-at-home mom. I done I've been the makeup artist years ago. When you would go into the stores, they would have the ladies and that did the makeup, the long comb, and they really don't do that as much anymore. But that was so I've kind of done a little bit of everything, secretary, you name it. And that's how it is in life. When you live a little bit, you've done a few things. And but travel and and having my own business, that is something I never would have thought I could do. And I never would have. It's not that I couldn't do it, but just I didn't envision it. And it's just funny, how life things happen that bring you to a certain point. And maybe it's the hand of God. I don't know, but it's real. For the journey is real for all of us. We all have different paths, and I wouldn't trade what I have learned, being a franchise owner or this journey while it has not been easy for sure, it has been great. The clients that I have had, the friends that I've made, and the places I've been able to travel to, all of it, and the things I've learned. And really, a woman who really had zero social media until 2024. I did have Instagram, but it was just for family and my kids' pictures. So, I wasn't even out there. So I had to really teach myself a lot of things. And but I've loved every single minute of it, and I look forward to doing some really interesting things this year too for our Substack. And I do think Substack and possibly YouTube are two that I may use. I do LinkedIn. I do a lot of. I do have I do have AI auto posts. And then sometimes I'll throw in some creative original posts of my own, but I really don't do too much with LinkedIn as I was. Ironically, it's just the I'm on the Substack train now. So anyway, that's my journey.
So do you on LinkedIn, AI does the auto post, so it makes the article and everything?
Yeah, well, I'm sharing my secrets. Yes, it is. It's auto. Yes.
Yeah.
So
I think you should take that off, just to let you know, because it doesn't. Does it get a lot of engagement? Be honest.
No. It does
Yeah.
some.
Auto.
Yeah.
Auto. No, it typically
Well, are
doesn't.
you using
So
a tool for that? What tool are you using for that?
no, I'm not using a tool. I think if you're going to do a post, you can use AI to assist you, but then you put you put the final touches and everything, but don't use auto posting, because there's a point to that, because what happens is you don't want to post and ghost. So you might as well press the button and hang out for about 60 minutes and engage with people who are engaging with you, right? And do it when you can, right? When you can engage, maybe you're working at the same time and keeping an eye on the post, because if someone's engaged, you want to engage back, in the first 60 to 90 minutes. Now, granted, the algorithm in LinkedIn is doing a little bit more, that we're starting to see posts that are weeks old pop back up into the feed, right? Which is really encouraging. But when you post, if you auto post, then you'll forget that it posted, and then come back a few hours later and there's some comments, but you never engaged with it. So, and LinkedIn, you want to warm up the algorithm before you post. So you want to go out there and comment on, about 30 minutes before you post, comment on some other people's posts, find some meaningful comment. You're warming up the algorithm. Now, when you post, the algorithms, you warmed it up a little bit, right? And then it'll give you a little bit more love back. And then you just hang out for a little bit, at the same time you're working. But Lynn, I actually may want you to come to speak to a cohort of mine to talk about your travel journey. But I'll reach out to you because I think it will be inspiring to one of them, as they're going through a career pivot.
Oh, I'd love to. Yeah, anytime. Just let me know. Happy to do that.
I'll reach out to you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
You are the best wingman, Bez. You covered it off, didn't you? You didn't even miss me.
Oh,
I don't even need to be here. I don't even need to be here. Look, something funny happened to me on the way to the show today. LinkedIn has already killed the show at 2 hours and 12 minutes, but the Substack show is still going. And there are 12 people listening on Substack. And hello, welcome to the show. 12 real people listening right now. So if you'd like, we've got listeners. We've got an audience.
Yay.
I don't yet know who you are, but if you want to make some comments or you want to come up on stage, someone has commented, you want me to come up on stage, but what is the topic and when are we talking? I said, we're talking right now. We're talking right now. And why don't you come up and speak to us right now? So not everyone's up for that, but I think the reason I love this show so much is that we can somewhat hide behind our profiles. Like, I don't want to do a video show because I just can't be bothered being on video. I can't be bothered having a shave. I can't be bothered cleaning the mess up in the back. I don't mind. I mean, I'm not lazy, but I just don't want the hassle of having to go on video all the time. It's a big load. With this show, we can go 4 hours. They're still going. The internet's given me a big signal that I need to stop, and my belly's getting a bit growly. But, I mean, I've been going since 10 a.m. It's now 2:30. My highest score is 6 hours if you're up for it. But it must be getting close to midnight there, Bez, and maybe I better give you guys a rest because you're all in Eastern time, yeah?
Yes.
You're in Eastern time?
Yes. Give us a rest.
Yes.
So Shireen, I'm so glad we met, and this is a very good vindication for why I do this show. We had never met before, and now we may do something together. You know, you may come on my show. I can come on your show. You've now met Bez. You've now met Lynn. You've now met Americo. Americo has a very cool show. I'm sure he's eager to interview you too. So we all help each other here. And the LinkedIn show's finished, but the Substack one is still going, and I'm guessing it's still going on YouTube. So I've sent you some screenshots. I'm going to do my best to send you a little bit of a blurb to bleed it out, but do that tomorrow. Go and have a bit of a show. Go and have a sleep. And we're real people in real time. And it's like it's 2 a.m. It's 2 p.m. here. I can go for hours and hours and hours. So, you watch me. But you guys need to get some sleep. So I'm going to play my little signature theme song for 60 seconds. And this gives us a chance to leave very, very poetically. Don't feel like you need to stay for the whole show. And I'm going to play this little song, and then I'm going to go and have some lunch. You've been listening to KKFM in Melbourne, Australia.